My battery doesn't work. They don't care. They still get a new iPhone.
That's
The
me.
glitches,
You guys
everything.
don't care.
People
You
work
guys
through
are
it.
I
loyal.
got iPad, iPhone, like I'll go back. Yep, that's my
You guys are loyal.
yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, interesting is, it's the customer service. They have great customer service. Like you can go into the store and like they'll work for hours to figure out what's going on with your phone, and if they can't figure out what's going on with your phone, they'll give you your phone. Yeah, you know, customer service.
yeah.
Is, like think about it like in shopping at Wegmans instead of Walmart. It's the customer service. Walmart's prices are cheaper. Walmart has everything, but Wegmans customer service is on point. Almost every line is open.
Tops or what?
Yeah, you cannot compare Tops to
like
Wegmans
Menards.
ever.
No.
No, I said Walmart because you know that's one of them big. That's the biggest retailer in the world. Like
What do you
Walmart,
think about
I mean.
Target and Walmart? Do you feel like Target and Walmart, like customer service?
Target is like a more bougie Walmart. Bougie
Target,
version
really,
of
not
Walmart.
Target.
Yeah, it's more like those stores like Target and
You
Wegmans.
pay a little more for the experience.
Yes, you pay like
Like
because
I go to Wegmans.
you go to Walmart, you can get everything in there, and obviously it's cheaper. But you go to Wegmans, stuff is more expensive. You get more stuff there, but the customer service, the lines are long, not as long. You go on Walmart and it's 2 cashiers open, and the lines is wrapping around the corner.
Well, the good thing about Walmart now is they have the self checkout.
They've always had that, but them lines still be crazy.
Not that crazy.
They don't got
Wegmans
self-checkout
got
on Hudson.
Wegmans got self checkout.
'cause they
Oh,
already-
they don't.
Don't
Because
got
people gonna be
self-checkout
walking
on
right out
Hudson.
Because
with
they're
stuff.
theft.
Right.
And they don't have 24-hour service on
Yeah,
Hudson
they
either.
They used to. Remember when they all first started opening up? They all were 24 hours, but then they started fighting.
Not
around
Hudson
there,
and
then
not
they're-
Chi-Li.
They're theft,
Yep.
and then not Chi-Li no more either. I think the only one that's 24 hours now is Brockport because they know ain't nobody driving out there.
Henrietta used to be 24 and it's not
Yep,
anymore.
they're not either. And they close early, like 10 o'clock. Hudson closes at 10.
Done.
At 10 o'clock. Like, who's...
Right.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, I think it's crazy, but I prefer the customer service.
Right.
I prefer
You
the
know
customer
what's
service totally.
funny, though? Walmart on Hudson can't manage to stay open 24 hours a day, but Wegmans on Titus and Hudson can.
It is.
Mhm.
Because people probably fear going to steal from Wegmans.
Yeah.
You know, maybe because Titus, once you pass
You're at Arundequoit.
Eastridge Road, it's Arundequoit.
Right.
So that's a whole nother ball game. People don't want to do.
That's true.
People don't want to deal with the Arundequoit police. I've heard, and I don't know if this is facts or not, but I've heard the Arundequoit police are like the worst, like police when it comes to minorities.
I think that, well, I went to school in West Arundequoit. I was in the urban suburban program. So we did a lot of going back and forth to Arundequoit, and I think there's definitely a lot of profiling that takes place.
It
when
Okay,
you-
see, so that's the difference.
Absolutely. It happened to me.
Really?
Yes.
What happened?
Okay, I was driving. I was leaving a Rite Aid. I pulled out, and this cop followed me all the way to. Listen, I'm telling you, and I was like, okay, what's going on? He's like, you don't have your seatbelt on. He literally pulled me over. I was like, are you serious? I said, all the crime that's happening, and you're pulling me over for a seatbelt. This was probably like 10 years ago.
Oh, before the seatbelt thing was even a huge deal.
Yes. So it's I was driving my aunt's car, so there's like a lap belt, and then you have the one that goes over. She had one of those older cars where you have to like pop it in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, whatever. So he gave me my ticket, and I appeared in. Well, I told him, I was like, are you gonna pay for this? I was like, I just got out of college. I'm broke. I don't have money. And so he wrote that. So the judge, when I went there, the judge was like, did you tell the officer that you don't have money to pay for this?
Ignorant.
I swear he said that. I was
And
like,
what did you say? Yeah, I
yes.
did say that.
He said, you know what? He was like, and then he was like, normally, he was like, I have to still give you a ticket. You know, he was like, I would still give you a fine or whatever. You still got to pay. But
They didn't have to.
He did. But he said he's still going to give me the
They
fine.
didn't have to
Like,
give you
whatever.
fines. They could drop those fines. Those judges
He kind of thought it
have
was
control
funny.
to do a lot, do they not?
No.
No?
No, a judge cannot
Yeah.
drop your. A judge cannot.
Really?
Judges can't reduce charges. Only district attorneys can reduce charges. The judge has no discretion unless there's a legal reason to dismiss your charges. The judge can't withdraw. The judge can't withdraw and dismiss your charges. So the DA would have to say, like, I'll withdraw this. The
Right.
judge can
How
say,
does
why
the
he-
DA have more pull than the judge?
oh, there is a DA election this year, and it is a big deal. The DA gets complete control over plea bargaining. So if you want a deal from the judge, for example, and there's an indictment, and the DA says this is the offer, the judge can control the sentencing, but you have to plead to the entire indictment to get the judge to control the sentencing.
Wow.
Whereas the district attorney can reduce the indictment. The judge can't do that.
That's
We
crazy.
get the whole education.
Who would have ever
Talking
look
about
like?
this.
Who
I'm
would have
talking
ever
about.
known? I had no idea. You would think that the judge would have more power over everybody in the courtroom. Actually,
No, the DA would have.
but the
more.
DA has
The DA
all
has the most power.
All
The
the-
DA has all the power.
So what?
But you guys go to. Well, this is where we have to like. Learn
Yeah,
about, like,
yeah.
The schooling and stuff like that, because I, went through and researched. Like, you went to UB, and you went to UB for undergrad, grad, and law school. That's
Yeah.
pretty dope.
I just stayed. I was like, when I get comfortable, I get comfortable.
That's
some
kinda
loyalty.
cool.
I'm like, well, I'm here. I'll just
Loyalty, right,
I'm here. I'll just stay.
That is pretty. That's super dope. Yeah, but we don't want to jump all the way into her business just yet.
We can't.
No,
Not yet.
yeah, we gotta make sure everybody stay and listen.
That already. I want to like take forever.
I know, because this could be a show that could just go on and on and on. So many questions.
Right, and she knows all the answers. She
She
knows all the answers.
I just make
She
them
like,
up
yep,
when
no.
I'll be like, oh, this sounds good. I talk with authority and people believe me.
Yeah, we do. We believe you. We know you know what you're talking about for sure. That's funny because I was talking to my dad and I was telling him he was coming on the show and he was like, she's really
Fat facts.
Oh, did you hear that, Shakia? It was fat facts.
Fat facts
Fat
time.
facts. Yes.
All right, y'all. So fat facts is where I'm gonna give y'all a fact about plus size women.
Okay.
And it's not fat as in FHAT. It's
It's
PHAT. Pretty hot and tempting.
Like what?
You know, pretty hot and I don't know.
Like hot food.
Hot deliciousness.
We're so corny. This is so embarrassing.
So the fat fact is
Right.
plus size women always have snacks in their purse, whether it be gum, candy, some type of snack.
I would definitely say that's a lie, but it's really not. It's
So
the
we
truth.
both have purses. We both
Yes.
are considered plus size. Let's check our bags.
No,
No, check your bag. Let's see what's in your bag.
This is so embarrassing.
I don't even feel like I can play anymore, and I don't have a purse.
There's a bag in there. Look, a pack of nullers. What you got, Jess?
A bag of
You put out
Cheetos.
a whole bag of Cheetos.
Listen, don't judge me. Judge.
I love Cheetos. There's no judgment. You were ready, baby.
Listen, I got more, but we're not gonna go there, okay?
That's funny. So yeah, so
Okay, I have Cheetos. I mean, listen, I feel like anybody, even moms, probably keep snacks in their
I
bag.
think that has a lot to do with it. It's being a mom
I'm
or
not a
just
mom, but I
being
just
plus
like-
size, whatever. Like you, but look, like what if,
Right.
like you said earlier, if your car breaks down, you have to sit in the car.
That's
What
important.
if you have a meeting?
I'm always.
You want to pull out some chips?
Some-
Okay,
Ooh,
I'm gonna need you
work.
not to pull out chips in the meeting. That's what I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you to keep
like,
your job.
Hold on, yo, let me grab my chips.
Right.
I'm gonna need you to keep your job and not do that.
Whether you be at school or at work, you know, you can pull out your stuff.
That's a pretty good fat fact. I like that.
Of course,
It's the truth.
it's accurate. We just
It is.
proved it, and that wasn't planned.
That was
Like
not.
Jessica literally had a honey. You have a honey bun in there.
Listen, stop telling
Where's
people
show
what
the
to
honey
say.
bun?
Really, Shakia? That's what we're gonna do? We calling
Wait.
people out?
Why you show her the inside
That's
of your purse?
She's always digging in it for snacks. Listen,
See,
she's listen.
fat facts.
Fat facts.
Pretty hot and tempting facts.
Well, listen, we are back for episode 201.
Yes, this is episode 201. I'm excited about it. We have Letitia Judge Astachio in the building.
Listen,
Shout her out, everybody.
Listen,
You know, so it's gonna be a good show. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so
We took
excited
a
to be
while
back.
off to get everything together, strategize everything.
Well, yeah, you know, sometimes it's always it's okay to take a step back and reevaluate, organize, and kind of get things together, and then come back full force. And I think that's what I'm gonna need you to get your phone together.
I need a
And
better
get
phone stand.
All right, because your phone is glammed out, but I'm gonna need you to get a better stand. But sometimes you just got to take a step back and get things together, and that's what we did. And I'm excited to be back
I am
for
too.
sure.
I had a good time.
Did you?
being
You
off
don't
for a
sound
little
like it.
bit.
You're like, I had a good time.
I did, no, because it was just like rest. I was out of town and I want to come back here.
Where were you? Okay, well, I was gonna say, where did you
This
go?
weather is so cold. Who wants to live here?
It's very cool.
Okay, yeah, it is a little cold. It's what, 1 degree today or below?
My
I don't
car
even
said
know.
1 degree with the wind chill was like negative 30 something.
Ridiculous.
So that means when the wind blows, it's like icicles being thrown at your face.
Right, this man came inside. I was at a store. He walked inside the store, and he was like, "It's so cold outside." He was like, "Do you mind if I stay in for a second?" I'm like,
And we were like,
"No, sir." He had a bag.
get
and
out,
everything.
weirdo.
I was like, and then I'm like, "Oh my god, it's so cold."
Yeah.
Like, why are we so compassionate when it comes to like it being cold? Any other day, we'd be like, "Get out,
Get
Like,
out.
What are you
I
doing?
felt so bad because I was thinking about like people. You know, it's a lot of homeless people in
Yeah.
Rochester, and I was thinking about them today. Like, I hope they're not out here.
There's-
Like, I feel
I'm
like
sure
it should be
they
a
are.
That's
situation
exactly where they
if
are.
you have to open up rec
Yeah.
centers, all that, and hire extra staff far as the city, why don't they do that? Nobody should be outside in this. That's not fair.
People are definitely outside. I'm sure they are under trees and in bus stations. Or
That's
wherever.
horrible.
We literally have a village for the homeless here where they sleep in tents. Like we have
Right.
a setup for them, and
If
that's
they can have a
where
whole
they
setup
live.
like that, they can have a building. No, just
Well, I mean, there
No,
are.
they totally can have. I mean, we have so many vacant buildings in Rochester. How difficult would it
Exactly.
be to use Tent City or the building across the street from DSS or any of the or Rondequoit Mall or any of the other vacant buildings that we have
Come
to
on,
allow
Judge.
people
Come on,
to.
Judge.
I mean, it's about priorities, And right now, the city is, it's getting a little different. I don't know that we're welcoming homeless people to come live in the city because it seems like we're welcoming a whole different demographic.
Oh, did you hear what I'm saying? She's speaking truth.
She
right
forgets
there.
all the facts.
Listen, I told you she knows everything. 'Cause
Yes.
she's a judge.
I'm not a judge anymore. I just don't have any.
Look, we gotta get thrown out.
That's it,
all the
right?
time.
Look, we're like judge.
But
judge,
she's a judge. She knows. She's the judge.
I know.
I was just talking to my sister the other day, and it's funny because when I first got elected, I was very uncomfortable, right? I was 33 years old,
Right.
and
Which
everybody
is-
was, I was the youngest ever, and everybody's like, judge, judge, judge. And I'm like, you are so much older than me, mister, whatever your name is. Don't call me judge. You know, I was,
but you are. Own that title, girl. You earned that.
I was so uncomfortable, and it's off the bench. I got more comfortable being called judge than I was on the bench because I just heard it so much more, and I knew people were saying it as a term of respect and endearment. And
right,
so
yes.
now it's like I'm more used to responding to judge than I am Leticia.
Got it.
But
which is crazy.
it is crazy. It's like, but before I was so uncomfortable with it.
Well, that's what you are. You're a judge. No one will ever take that title from
No,
you.
they can never take it. And I was like, oh my gosh, should I wear should we wear a robe?
We were like, should we wear a robe and get a gavel?
And then we're like, I don't think it's called a gavel. Isn't it called we were like
Oh,
having
it's
a
a gavel.
debate.
It's a gavel.
And we're like, we're not gonna do all that. We're
Gonna
gonna wear our
dress up.
t-shirt and we're gonna be who we are.
Yeah, that's
That's what I like. Be who you are.
Right.
Exactly. And I don't think that should ever change. Always
Right.
should be true to yourself. But yeah, that was funny. I asked Jessica, like, how did she even, because she said robe. I'm like, where do you have a robe? She was like, graduation. I'm like, who still has
You
that?
still have your graduation.
Here from college, it's like wrapped up with. I just kept it in plastic. I don't know.
Of
It has,
course you
it has
did,
all like the
Eleanor.
ropes. Stop. She loves to like throw my mom's name out there because
I call her mom name when she act like, y'all should have seen her earlier. Totally bougie.
What?
Oh my God. Flicking the bang.
Listen,
Look.
I got a new wig today.
She's
Just
like,
let me-
she was so new.
If you would have told me we were being pretty, I would have brought Beyonce and somebody could have put her on for me, and I would have
You're
been
fine.
so adorable.
You're
Oh,
fine. You look
good.
good the way you are. You're fine.
Yes.
That's funny. She said I would have bought Beyonce. Is that what you named your wig?
Yes, yes. I have a blonde highlighted wig named Beyonce that I bought. That's in a box because wigs are hard. No, she has like lace,
You
and
wanna
I
put
don't.
her on a
You
head.
do you cut the lace off at the front?
I don't know how to wear them. Like I don't know what I was doing.
Man,
It's
don't
like-
you walk around here with that lace on that wig?
I don't walk around with it at all. It's in a box in my bathroom.
I gotta get her a wig head.
Yeah, you need
so,
a wig stand, like a head.
so you can look at her every day.
She's very cute. And it's cold. I really should have. I see. We're gonna do this again. I'm gonna come
Okay.
back. Y'all gonna
Yeah.
put
Okay.
Beyonce
Yeah.
on me.
Yep.
We have to redo this.
Yeah, we have to because I want to see Beyonce.
Even
You
though
call
you look
something
cute,
Beyonce,
but
it's
if you want to
serious.
be Beyonce, that's cool.
Yeah, you call something Beyonce, it's pretty serious. So I
Oh
really
yeah, it's
think
cute.
that
She
you
is
should.
cute. She is cute, girl. And she is cute on me. I put her on. I just haven't fixed the lace part.
Is it long or is it
It's
short?
it looks just like your wig
Oh.
actually,
But it's black.
but it's brown with like blonde highlights.
Ooh, blonde.
Because
Yeah, I know, I love
I
me
like
some
to
good
be a
blonde
blonde.
hair.
I like to be a blonde, but my hair does not like it, and that's why I'm bald headed right now because I wanted to be a blonde, and my hair was like, oh, you think that's cute? Okay, you're gonna have a 360 bang.
Oh,
I was like,
you just did a chop. No,
I did a chop because my hair was very damaged,
got it.
and I'd rather say cut it all off once.
Okay.
And also anytime I think about being bald, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm pretty enough. And as soon as I think I'm not pretty enough to do something, that's what I do.
You're
So-
not your hair. You're not your hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
India said it best. I am not my.
But you know, a lot of
You
women.
gotta be
a lot
cute
of
though to
women
not have no hair.
Feel like
That's true.
yeah.
You have to have the
Because
certain
it's
kind of
all face.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I got
it
a
is.
big old head. I had a super big head.
I have
Thank
a
you.
big head and a big face, and I wear short hair.
But you be
It
laid
just-
all the time, honey. You come out the house looking like you're going to the Grammys. I come out the house looking like
Listen,
I'm homeless.
Neck up.
No.
She be flawed.
No. Look, no,
Eyes
that's not
popping.
true at all. That is not the case, you know. But that day, I don't know. I just had makeup on. I don't know.
She was
why.
at
And
the
she was
beach.
at the beach. I was gonna say
She was at the beach in a full face, looking airbrushed. I was like, it's 10,000 degrees.
Listen.
Craig Mack just ran by, and you got on a whole full face of makeup.
Oh,
Okay.
I know you got comedy. We need to put her up on stage. Give her a segment hour.
That was funny.
That would be dope.
I remember when she saw me, I was like, just stop, please. Just take this picture. You know, you were a hot commodity. Everybody needed to get a shot with you.
So you guys actually took a picture?
Yeah, I showed you the picture. I posted
You know
it.
my memory.
Like,
After
I'm
a
in
day,
I
I'm
was like,
what
at the
did I
beach.
do?
At the beach with my friend. Everybody was like, oh, Ty, I want a car. Ty to call me.
How they gonna
I'm
bye?
like, me.
How they gonna call her?
It's so funny because I think we live in the same vicinity of each other. Because I used to see you walking your dog, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna follow her one day. She's gonna be like, get away from me.
Stalker.
I was like, I'm
watch
just-
out for her. I'm
I-
telling
yeah,
you.
I'm
Everybody,
just gonna pop out like, Judge, I've been trying to get a cousin.
people
Like,
do. People
back
do
up.
stop. I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello.
That's
How you
fun.
doing?
That's interesting. Yeah, I see you walking like on the Lake Avenue, towards the Seneca Park Avenue.
Yeah, I live over there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so great. You just told everybody where she lives.
Everybody knows where I live.
Everybody knew where she lived. They
Oh.
plastered it all on
Somebody
the
literally
news.
sent me a message today and was like, I drive past your house and I thought of you. I was like, because I never told you where I live, so this is a little creepy.
That is real
Wait,
creepy.
that is weird.
Everybody knows where I live. When you run, it's on your petitions, but the news came to my house so many times.
And that's why it's not fair.
And they published my address. They literally published my. No, none of it. When have we cared about the law in this case?
I care. We're gonna get into it.
We are.
What's y'all?
Well, we about to talk for a minute first.
Listen, we ready for our
Jumping
weekend
into our
girl.
Weekend Girl Jam.
Yes.
That's our tune to talk about Weekend Girl. So let's talk about it. What did you do this past weekend?
I did not do any. Look, I'm trying to. Oh, I went to an open mic. Actually, I did do something.
Weird.
My little sister invited me to open mic at the French Quarter Cafe.
Okay.
Yeah,
I saw that too.
The Highsmith kids were doing it.
Oh.
I don't know their names, and they're not kids. They're like adults, but they're kids to me.
Right.
And they had open mic, and I've been to open mic maybe once in Rochester, and I wasn't in love, but this was like so beautiful.
You liked it?
It was so dope. So I was Nia Long. Lorenz didn't show up. I don't know what happened. He must have been sidetracked, but he did not come for me. But it was like you go upstairs in French Quarter and they have little lights, like the Christmas
really
lights.
Nice up there.
It was so cute. And then everybody got up and said their poems, and that was beautiful. You know, it was a very clearly safe space for Black people, art people. So that was nice. But aside from that, when people got up on stage, you know, nervous there, and when they messed up, you never even knew they messed up except for they announced it. But everybody was like, "Yes, you the best. We love you." Like it was just so supportive.
Oh, that's dope.
So it was a very, very nice experience. My sister said they do it frequently, and I would strongly encourage everyone to come out next time. It's like $5, best $5 I ever spent. Great time.
That's not bad at all for open mic.
People, it's like open mics. There's a few open mics happening around the city of Rochester, like this new year, starting in January.
Rochester is popping. With this new demographic that's coming in, we're getting exposure to all types of things that we've never had before. And I worry that we're getting them as we're getting pushed out. Right. But we're getting, you know, the Love Jones like activities or the things in Rochester that like the Holiday Village downtown or igloos. Or we're getting cool things that make it a kind of trendy looking city.
I wonder why. Not so. What you did this weekend?
What did I do this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, this weekend I feel like I spent most of my time with y'all, with the plug team. And it was
is a pleasure.
Look at her face. She is not playing with you.
Did I finish?
That is a pleasure.
I spent a lot of time with you guys. One. So I spent a lot of my time. Obviously, we were just kind of like organizing our lives, and we had our photo shoot for the 2019 season. And then I had some other entertainment stuff that happened throughout the weekend. My memory is bad, so I can never remember really what I did after 2 days. I can't remember. I have to go back in my phone and see who I was talking to. Because, I never can remember. But it was just plug stuff and just, like, entertainment stuff with, like, Mink and stuff like that.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah, this weekend I kind of, like, we were together, obviously. So that was that Friday. We were together all day. Saturday, my day was, like, thrown off. And I couldn't even, like, sleep or nothing. And then Sunday.
Okay.
We were at the photo shoot, which was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
We were there.
Shout out to Good News.
Yeah, shout out to him. He always does a good job.
He does.
It was
a lot happening, but
it was a lot happening, but he finished it and made it work out. So you guys check out our new flyer that was just shot on Sunday.
Right, we popping.
And me and Jess had to go through those pictures very.
Listen, we could not find not one good pic,
and that was the best one.
And it's still a hot mess on the wall.
Jerry told me I look like my eyes are infected.
What did I say? I look like
I'm like, yo, you not even allow that. Y'all cute. Don't listen to that.
Listen,
man, disrespectful.
Right.
But it's okay. It's okay.
No, we're gonna redo it.
Yeah, we're gonna. But that was cute. It was a cute picture. I liked it.
It works.
Overall.
It works for.
It works for what we needed it for.
Yes.
Joe, what'd you do this weekend?
I had a kid birthday party. That was pretty
your
fun.
Kid or a kid's party?
It was a kid's party.
Oh, okay.
That you DJ'd for?
Yes.
Like, why are you going to children's parties? This is we've reached the R. Kelly segment.
Nah, I had a DJ kids party, and then had open mic on Monday at Mink Lounge. So that was pretty cool. Other than that, just chilling in the house with my kids. You know.
I saw you posted a picture of your son.
Yeah, he's sick. Yeah.
Like flu sick or cold.
Cold sick.
Fever.
Yeah.
It's like that time of year. This weather. Get out of Rochester. We should just all move. They're moving a new demographic, and we should all move out.
Okay.
Sick of them.
Okay, bye, Shakira.
Sick of it.
Yo, but let's kind of like get right into our hot sauce news. And hot sauce news is like entertainment-based news.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned R. Kelly, so we're gonna jump right into this whole R. Kelly story.
Let's talk about him.
Let's talk about it. So let me catch everybody up on the recent R. Kelly alleged pedophile news. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, the docuseries Serving R. Kelly. Did you guys watch that?
I haven't seen it
You
yet.
haven't seen
No.
I've seen it.
You seen it?
You haven't
Yeah.
watched it either?
I have no intentions of watching it.
No?
I watched every episode.
It was on Lifetime, and the series highlights multiple stories of women who will say claimed,
Allegedly.
yeah, that they were physically, sexually assaulted and mentally assaulted by Mr. Kelly, and that a lot of these girls are underage. There was somebody who was as young as 14. So that's really sad. I'm gonna be honest. I honestly believe everything these women
Of course
say.
you did.
I do. I don't know. Like, I mean, when you have so many people saying the same thing about one person, and these people are from all over the world. It's not like they're all from Chicago. These people are from all over, and they were like minors. I don't know. I believe it, and I don't think it has anything to do with money because
I get it. Well,
I don't think it's not like, I mean,
But-
he's gotten paid. He had to pay out some family.
yeah. But dealing with somebody on the level as R. Kelly to say that has nothing to do with money, to me, in my opinion, no. Because, like, at the end of the day,
How much money does he
we're
have?
a lot. And we're together.
He doesn't
And
own
Not
his
anymore.
rights. He doesn't own his
we
rights.
could correspond the story and make something up and could be on the same page. So it's like, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I'm just like off the basis of that. It's like you just don't know. But let's just say if it was true. We knew about R. Kelly doing this 20 years ago. Why everybody mad now?
Well, I guess
He allegedly married.
No, baby,
or
he
was
married
true?
Aaliyah.
He married
He married
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah.
Years
That,
ago.
that's not
Everybody
alleged.
was still rocking with him then. So why is everybody so
Well-
outraged now?
Well,
It's trendy.
Yeah, and the question
You know?
the question is, do black girls' lives matter? Because they
No.
said if it was white girls, it would have been investigated sooner. But it's like it's about black girls, so people are like, whatever.
Do our lives don't matter at all? Black, a girl, a boy, our lives don't matter.
Wait, what are you talking about, Shakira?
Black lives.
But what I'm saying is they want to know. This is the burning question for many of us: do black girls' lives
No.
matter? That's the question.
No. And
They
that's
don't
it.
even matter to us. We're sitting here like, oh, we know R. Kelly's been a rapist forever, but I'm still gonna listen to his music, and I'm gonna step in the name of love every barbecue, and I don't care. I still will go. And girls are going to his shows talking about kidnap me.
Yeah.
They don't matter to us. We make
Yeah.
ourselves a joke all the time.
Girls
and wonder
are
why we
saying
get
that.
disrespected.
Kidnap me, rape me.
They had that.
That's ridiculous.
It's
You
sad
need
to-
some
it's sad to
counseling,
say
baby.
Because I had said, I mean, I didn't go that far, but I had said when we were in high school, I knew a lot of females that were like 16 and 15 and stuff my age, and a lot of grown men, were picking them up at school.
So me being fast, right, or me liking older men, or me whatever, doesn't mean you're not a rapist.
True.
So I'm a little girl who's impressionable and who can be manipulated by a
True.
man because
You're
I'm
the joke.
16 years
Right,
old,
yeah.
and that's what happens when you're 16. But you want to blame me because you're grown ass, because you're grown
Oh,
behind.
you can say that.
Oh, I can.
Listen,
you
this
should-
is the
you-
plug.
You,
You
shouldn't have told me
Yeah.
that. You're grown behind, can't control yourself at 20, 30, 40, but my 16-year-old self is supposed to be able to contain all of this sexual prowess that you've showed me I have, that society has shown me I have. I'm supposed to be able to contain that, but you're grown behind can't.
But listen, at 16,
Okay.
you can emancipate yourself and become a legal adult.
Okay.
Is it
That
still,
still doesn't.
How
make
many
it-
of y'all
that's
did?
not
I'm
a
How
child.
many of them
asking,
little girls
is it
getting-
still wrong?
How many of them little girls getting in cars with their homeboys and their boyfriends did it? They didn't. They was going to their mama house later on. They didn't
True,
emancipate.
that's true. But
in
I'm saying,
16,
if
you can
did,
consent to sex in New York State.
right?
16 is the legal age of consent
Okay.
in New York State.
So is it still rape then?
no, it's not rape if you
Because
can
if
consent.
yeah,
Well,
So was it-
from the documentary? Like it was like the girls they was saying that they was consenting to it. If you
But they were
if
saying
you
they were
watch
young.
it.
Yeah.
Now
You
for
can't
one, like the one,
consent, though before 16. So if I'm 14 and I strip and bust it open, you
Mhm.
better go home
like the
because
one
I
girl
can't consent.
that said that she
Listen,
met the one girl that said
listen,
she
bye.
met R. Kelly at 14. She said that they didn't have sex until she was 16.
That's called grooming.
Uh huh.
That's
And-
what that
It's
is.
called red shirting.
Is that-
what
is
they call
that
it?
illegal?
But the
That is
thing
a
is
legal
though,
term. That's called
he
grooming. Yes.
she
Oh,
told
you
him.
would know.
Right.
Look, we can't
can't-
even battle with her.
Listen, I'm like, I'm not
She
even
would
gonna say that.
Well, it's when you meet the person and you're like, "Ooh, I like you because you're 10 and I'm into 10-year-olds, but I don't want to go to jail."
Well, see, that's not even the case.
Okay, that's
In their
weird.
point, she met him and she told him that she was 18. And when she turned 16, she told him that she was 16. And he told her, "Well, keep saying that you're 18 and don't worry about it."
That's what I'm saying. He knew, so it's rape.
No,
he didn't know.
if she's 16, it's not rape no matter
Are
what.
we,
She's
are we,
not
we're
rape.
no, listen, but do you ask for ID? Well, you're married. technically.
But what I was about, that's what I was about to
Like,
say.
dude,
No
where's
man
your
be like,
ID
let me
at?
see your ID. Now they might
Guess
start.
what? Maybe you
Now
should
they
start.
might start.
If you can't have a conversation with a 14-year-old and figure out she's 14, you need to go get a goddamn GED. What's wrong with you that you don't know you're talking? I have a 14-year-old. Okay, sometimes I'd be like, "What part of the spectrum are you on?"
Right.
So you, if
exactly.
you can't figure out
They
that the
know.
person you're talking to,
is a
I think they know.
mentally,
I think they be knowing, but they don't be caring at the time, so they try to make it seem as though they don't know.
grown women who are
Yeah.
doing things with their lives have standards and expectations and
Yes.
expect you to do things.
Mhm.
Little children are excited by
All they want you
having
to do
a
is get their
car.
nails done and
Right.
get their hair done.
You want
Right.
you have a car,
buy them
great.
Jordans.
Me too. Congratulations. I'm not impressed with that. You
Right.
you can get my nails and my nails are done. Little kids have very low
so
standards.
you can tell.
So you can tell when you're exciting someone. You can tell when you're having a conversation with them
That's true.
that they're little kids.
So
Mhm.
when I was 11 years old, I was fully developed at this time. I mean, I had boobs, everything. Had a
Bro, we could
full-on
tell.
mission.
Right.
There's a whole lot of women over there. Had a full mission, you know. Wait, why y'all laughing?
Because it's funny. That's why we're laughing. Because it was funny.
I had a full mission on everything, and I had this one guy, this grown man, tried to talk to me. I was going to the store or something because back then it was okay for us to go to the store with
yeah.
our friends.
Mhm.
Now my daughter would never, but back then it was fine. So I was walking to the store with my friends, and he was trying. I was like, "Mister, I'm 11." He's like, "Your body ain't 11."
But I am, you nasty
And
little
I was like,
pervert.
but
My
I
body
am.
and I are together.
I was like,
And that brings us back to R. Kelly. Listen.
But you do know that R. Kelly victims, they wasn't all young, right? Like one lady, he met her at 34, I believe.
well,
and
his
then-
wife was a victim. She talks about being tied up and being choked
Right.
and being so.
Mm.
And she was a successful
But then
woman
she
in her
was
career
just
at the
on the
time.
thing. So I don't care what nobody say. Y'all can't take away from what R. Kelly does. She shut up.
Well, yeah, we gotta.
There's
we
a-
gotta- we gotta
she
leave
pissed
her
me
to-
off.
I mean, there's also a video on YouTube right now that's going around that's exposing like everything on the backside of the documentary. So like one thing, like Wendy Williams, she had part in of the Leah story that was on Lifetime, and then now she has part in this where it's like exposing him. So first she was saying something good about him
Right.
a couple months ago,
Wow.
and then now this come out and she's like completely bashing him. And then it was like the parents of one girl, the one that was outside of the studio throwing the rocks at the window.
Oh, right.
They were interviewed by like a podcast, and they were talking about how they would love to be on like different shows that like basically tell
So
their
they're
story.
trying to
but
like get fame. You think people
Yeah.
are just trying to get fame?
not even them, even the victims themselves.
Mm.
If you hear their stories, they'll tell their story, and they're like, "Yeah, I got a book coming out. If you want to hear more about my story, you gotta go get
Well,
the
I mean,
book."
at this point, it's like you might as well.
Right. What is the
capitalize off of
benefit
it.
ever in a woman reporting sexual assault or sexual abuse? She immediately gets ostracized by society. She
Right.
immediately gets called a liar and a whore and a whatever else. Like, what benefit is there? Good for you, baby. Get that bag.
It's,
Exactly, that's what,
there's
like,
multiple of them that's like doing a
Because all
book.
their stories are different, so the books.
And
hopefully
but
the
their
stories
story
will
is
be
also
different.
out, and most of them aren't going to receive any type of justice.
Nope.
If this is actually true, it's not like they're going to prosecute and they're going to say it's too late. So why not benefit from the torture?
And then
that
the
you
same
went through.
the same parents, they were like trying to get their daughter. They got it on camera. It shows on YouTube that they were trying to get their daughter to like accuse R. Kelly of doing multiple things. So like, you had sex with R. Kelly. He made you to have the threesome. She was like, no, I wanted to have it. Like, and like they were just trying to make
They
her
said
say.
that he trained their minds to allegedly.
But they were in
That's
the
what
video.
grooming is.
Yeah.
They were in the video training her to say something different to like the authorities. Like they were trying to record it, and she just would not like go with what they were trying to say. Like they was forcing her
crazy.
to try to say stuff.
That
So
is
it's like
crazy.
it's crazy on both sides.
It is crazy. I mean, I know that this story is not over because there's a lot that's going to be happening.
And
in the years to come.
investigations are actually
Yes.
being conducted as a result of the
Definitely.
documentary. They're looking for people who are who might be within the statute of limitations. So they are investigating him to see if there's other people out there who are saying it. And I don't know. I wasn't there, but
Right.
in general, I think that we should believe women. We should believe victims. We should believe people who say that they're victimized because the way that the system is set up. Right. And I know the system is completely imperfect. I'm not saying it's perfect, but the way that the system is set up is that you're supposed to have to prove a person guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So you're not supposed to have to convince the victim that they're lying or shame. Like, that's how the system works.
Yeah.
When a woman goes in and says she's raped, she's going to be cross-examined. She's going to have a medical, they're going to pull up all of her past. There was one case, look at Kobe Bryant's case where they were like, oh, well, you had sex with someone else that day or that week, or like, can you get out of my vagina? I can give my vagina to who I want to willingly, and then
Nobody
I can say
can take
it's
it,
my
right.
vagina and you don't get to have it. Like,
Right.
I'm allowed to do that. It's mine. So when women make these accusations, we have to be, and not just women, when people make these accusations, we have to be cognizant of everything that they have to go through to come forward.
Right.
And when you start second guessing them or doubting them, you are just another layer of bullshit that they have to cut through in order to tell a story that nobody wants to tell in the first place.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be like, oh, yeah, I was raped, because you already internally start to think about what you could have done differently or what you may have done wrong. I don't know. I got all riled up before I got here over Jussie Smollett, so I'm already
Listen, that's definitely something
fired up. Yeah, I'm already fired up about this
Okay, we're
whole
gonna talk
don't
about
believe
that.
people thing.
So we're kind of gonna just go into this weekend. Some fun. I guess it's fun for some people. Football. Who's ready for the Super Bowl this weekend?
Nobody.
Don't,
gotta-
don't
you
stand
think-
out.
Nobody want to
We're
see the
not watching
Patriots.
NFL.
Don't nobody care.
We're about
Boo.
to take a knee.
Moving on.
F everybody in the Super Bowl.
Boo. Moving on.
Okay, so no football fans here.
Boo.
No football.
I only like the Super Bowl for the food. You know, you get to eat, everybody chips, and then like the halftime show. But I'm not impressed
Who's
with.
performing?
I don't know who's performing either.
I think Kylie Jenner's.
Absolutely not. I'm off that.
Kylie Jenner is a singer.
Travis Scott.
Oh.
Her dude, her boyfriend, or her.
Oh, this is cinnamon.
whoever
This
it
was
is.
a mistake.
Oh.
No, I thought it was just red, but not cinnamon.
Aw, dang.
This is the red, not cinnamon one. It's
Oh.
okay. I'm about to spit this right
Okay,
out.
so we're gonna move from the football. Let's get right into some serious celeb news, and you kind of just touched on it a little bit. Jesse, is it Mullet?
No, no, it's
Is it
SMOLLET.
Okay,
I believe there's some French in there.
Okay, so if people don't know, it was what, Monday or like Tuesday morning at 2 a.m.
It was definitely Tuesday because I didn't know because I had my own case going on. So I came back and I was like, what did I miss?
Yes, he's Jesse Smollett. It was reported he was injured. It was a homophobic attack this past Tuesday morning at 2 o'clock.
Homophobic racist
Racist Yep, we
attack.
gotta throw that in
Racist.
there.
It was not alleged racism. It was not racially overcharged. It was racist.
Okay.
Oh.
It was
Go.
a hate crime.
Chicago.
And it was a racist homophobic hate crime.
Go.
Listen.
Judge.
I'm sorry, it's
No,
your
Simmer.
turn.
No,
Look,
listen,
we like
listen.
Simmer.
No, well, he was attacked
Mhm.
by two white men.
I don't know. I thought they were masked. I don't know anything but what I've read, but I heard that there was
they
masked
were wearing
people.
MAGA hats, and if people don't know what those hats represent, the current leader of the United States, y'all leader, not mine.
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
MAGA hats, and they tortured him. Pretty much, they poured bleach on him. This is what
Did he
the-
think
this
that was
is
gonna
what
change
they
his skin
said.
color? That's not how it works.
Well,
Ignorant.
It's disgusting.
They're stupid.
Bleach. They tied a rope, but noose
A
is
noose.
what they're trying to say. And they he suffered like ribs, like broken ribs or fractured ribs, and it's just disgusting.
They
And
called him a derogatory
Oh,
slur for
absolutely.
gays.
Mhm.
They called him the N-word, and they said this is MAGA country. Those are the allegations that I've read. And many media outlets have reported that it was a homophobic hate crime, but they keep saying that there were racial overtures. I don't understand when you call somebody
It's
the
both.
N-word, how is that not clearly a racial hate crime? How's, so that was why
They
my
said that they
irritation
knew
came
that
forward.
he was coming into town. I feel like this was already pre-planned.
I
How
feel
did
like,
he get
where
close
was
to
I?
him
'Cause
like
that's
that?
my
Like-
whole boyfriend. He is so beautiful.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it was like planned. Like I feel like they knew he was coming into town. Or
Like, how did
something
they
like
get that
because
close to
He
him?
was headed to the train station. And my question is like, normally with celebrities, they travel with somebody.
With an entourage.
Yeah, but it was just weird that he was alone.
Well, I
We
know
don't
so
but-
everybody's like, this is a lie, this is a lie. I know I had to go to Syracuse for some stuff while this was going on. And I was at a hookah lounge in Syracuse chilling. And so was Megan Good. And she was not there with an entourage. She was not, because if you're with an entourage, now it becomes very clear that you're Megan Good. When she was chilling in her little cap, it wasn't completely clear that she was Megan Good. And she got to tell who she wanted to, who she was with. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So this impression that celebrities always, I'm irritated with him too because everybody's like, he's lying and he's lying. And
Why would
like-
he have to lie about something like this?
who wants that
Right.
kind of attention?
Yeah.
And to me, the reason everybody's attacking him is because just like you said, do black women matter? No, and neither do black gay men.
Right.
You're treating him like this because you think black gay men are disposable. And it pisses me off because black men are the ones who are getting incarcerated at an exponential rate and are getting shot in the streets by police officers. And black women and black gay men and black trans men and black queer men are always out here boycotting and standing up and protesting. And black men, sorry, babe, but y'all never come through. Like, I don't want to say never. I saw the whole hair store video when people didn't. But, like, we need to support each other. If you think he's a liar, then shut up. Then just sit down quietly. But don't sit here and give other groups of people more evidence that we
Mhm.
don't support and love one another.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody needs that evidence. We're killing each other all the time. We're like, let's just try to support each other or be quiet.
Well, my question is, people are saying that he's lying. Why would he want this kind of attention? Like you said, he's, for the most part, what people say, he's so fun, he's lovable.
I'm in love with him and he's gay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why would he want this kind of negative
I'm like,
attention
you said
around
you would
his
consider
career
a woman?
anyway?
Well, I wouldn't normally, but we could talk about this.
Oh
like,
my
he
God.
is.
So the question is, like, what do we do? Like, how do we deal with situations like this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, to me, the reason that I get so fired up and
You're fired
irritated
up.
about
I
it.
love it.
No,
Fired
because,
up.
okay, you remember the little white kids with their MAGA hats?
Mm.
And how it came out that they were saying, whatever, and being
Right.
disrespectful for an elder.
Yeah.
And within 10 seconds, white America was like, that's the wrong story. Here's a PR firm. That's not what happened. And they all got on board and decided it was fake news. They got CNN to retract. They got people to say the kids were treated
it
too
went
badly.
away.
And it went
You're
away.
right, it went away.
But when it's us, we're like, Jesse's probably a liar. Don't vote for Kamala. Like, you don't think there's enough people tearing black people down? We really need to hop on that train?
Right.
If you can't say something positive about your
Then shut
own
up.
people, then just be quiet. We're always under attack. We
Right.
don't need to attack each other.
I agree.
And if we would do things like the MAGA teens, like come out and be like, no, that's not. We are so powerful. There are so many of us. We have so much buying power. We are so powerful. But instead of using our power to do something proactively,
Right.
we sit around and down each other and create these spaces and show people, I said Kamala Harris. Everybody came out. She's not, and I'm not endorsing her or saying anything about her. But when she came out, the day that she announced she was running, I saw so many people, all people of color,
Yes.
attacking her, saying, don't vote for her. She's a prosecutor. There's 20 people who announced they running for president. You checked all 19 others?
Is
No,
she-
you were quiet. It was
She's the one
crickets.
who's married or to the
She's
white
married
man?
to a white man.
And that's,
They say she doesn't
Yeah, I heard
identify
about
as
all that.
black.
Right.
Well, that's another sore spot for me because that's another issue I've dealt with my whole life. Well, what are you? Well, I mean, I am black and Puerto Rican. I think I identify more as a black woman because I don't speak Spanish. But I'm not about to sit here and justify my blackness to you. I'm sorry, you the black police? Like, excuse, she's Indian. Like,
Has
shut
people
up.
questioned that with you and
Oh
said
my
you don't?
God.
Didn't she had to you had to
Always.
defend yourself so many times.
Always. I have to defend myself in
Look,
so
I
many
have to
different
do
areas.
it, and clearly I'm black. Hello, look at me.
But you know what's hilarious? And this is what growing up, I never even realized that was an issue. I never realized anybody
No,
would
it
think I was
is.
Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
But when the police or when white people look at me, they don't think that I'm mixed. They see a black person.
Mm.
They don't remotely
Right.
consider
Absolutely.
anything else. And to me, that's
Absolutely.
what should count. When a non-person of color is looking at you, if you're my color or darker, you're black
Right.
in terms of how you're going to be treated.
Period.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, our love and prayers go out to Jesse, because this is really
Absolutely.
terrible. He's going to have like a long road. But the good thing about it is he has so much support, even though there's so much like negativity surrounding,
Well,
him,
I don't
but
even
he is
think,
a-
to be
the
honest, I think the
situation.
people who are saying whatever don't have the ability to reach him anyway.
Exactly.
He's not even
Exactly.
hearing that. It's
Right.
not something he's actually experiencing. But it just frustrates me that I wish that we would claim our power. I wish that we would own our power.
We usually don't do this, but I wanted to read a comment. Somebody said, "Well, if that's the case, y'all just attacked R. Kelly." I didn't attack R. Kelly. I don't think we attacked R. Kelly.
I think we said allegedly the entire time.
I think the whole point of the R. Kelly conversation was stop just dismissing what the women are saying. Take
Yes.
that into account. So I don't think that was geared towards R. Kelly. It was more so if a woman says she's raped, let's support her, and if we find out otherwise, then that's the case. But until then, don't.
Well, I just
automatically-
wonder what benefit there is to. I wonder what benefit there is to one lying about it, right? Maybe there's some monetary benefit, and that's worth getting dragged for your whole life. But two, what benefit is there in me and you and everybody else having this conversation about real people?
Right.
These are real people,
Mhm.
right? That eventually will trickle back to them.
Right.
These are real human beings. What value do we add to say this is a liar? This person's no good. I don't understand. And it seems like there's it's so exciting.
Mhm.
It's so exciting to watch somebody's life fall apart and to comment or to say nasty things or to disparage them in the process. It's like, baby, what are you going through?
Right.
Hurt people hurt people. Get a therapist.
Well, like we said, we send our love and prayers over to him, and
I
we'll
know.
see what's going to happen. Hopefully, they won't toss this story under the rug.
I know. Hopefully not.
We'll get it together. Okay, in beauty blender news, so CoverGirl has announced and launched Full Spectrum. It's an entire collection for women of color. And the collection brings tones with extensive selections of shade. Are you excited, Shaki? I know this is your lane.
Yes.
Love this. Super rich pigment and hydrating shades. So this is, if that makes any sense to you.
Yes,
It does? Oh, okay. Well, you can check out the new multicultural, it's not multicultural, I'm sorry. The new Full Spectrum makeup at Walgreens, CVS Ultra, Amazon, Rite Aid, and Target.
And it's affordable. So yeah, guys, try it.
That's good. So you haven't tried it yet?
No, yeah, I'll probably do a review.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so
So-
let me know.
Yeah,
I thought Fenty was like the go-to makeup brand for women of color. You don't
I think
like
I think right now
Everybody's
it
trying to
was,
jump
and the
on.
reason why it was because she offered like a variety of shades. Nobody was doing that until she did it.
So now everybody is writing that.
Of
one.
course.
Have you ever? Oh, so okay. I'm sorry. Can I ask her a question?
Oh, please.
I don't mean to.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Crayon case?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yes, I have a whole bunch of products.
Okay, I'm just obsessed with Supa,
Yes.
and so I'm like,
I have
you
a whole
should get-
bunch of products from them.
I started to
You
buy
should
the
be-
makeup, but then I realized I don't really wear makeup, so it'd be kind of stupid. But I just love her, so I wanted to support. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
We
That
want
was
her to
my
be a
choice.
crayon cutie.
You should.
She should be, right?
You should be.
Because she does all the bold colors, and that's what her products are.
You totally should be.
We gotta make that happen.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yes.
People are commenting, but we'll get back to that. I want to jump into plug press.
Yes.
So this is a series of questions that I need you to answer. Honestly, first thing that comes to mind, and you have literally seconds to answer them.
If you don't feel
No,
comfortable
give me 1
answering,
second.
you can. What?
No, you
I'm
answer
sorry.
them all.
Okay, now I'm ready.
You answer
I
all
was
these questions.
getting totally blown up, and I'm like, I
I'm
cannot
scared.
answer you. Okay, but I did it now.
Oh my God, we gotta get back to those. People are saying stuff. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Have you ever had to fire somebody?
No.
Have you ever had to hold someone in contempt?
I did hold one person in contempt, yes. I
Wow.
regret it
Why?
forever. He was spazzing out, and he would not stop, and he was wilding, and he was crazy. And I had just left judges school, and they had strongly encouraged us to hold people in contempt when they went crazy. And so I felt the need to, and then I apologized
felt
and
bad.
let him out. I felt really bad.
Oh.
I felt horrible. He was crazy. I don't really believe in jail. I know that's not a judge thing, but I felt really bad.
Okay. Do you have? I know you said you have a daughter, but do you have more than one, or she's?
I have a 20-year-old daughter.
Oh,
20-year-old?
you had a 20-year-old girl.
I got started really early,
Okay.
and I have a 14-year-old son.
So who's your favorite?
I don't like either of them.
Good answer.
They both have good qualities
like
and
that.
bad qualities.
Who you crushing on right now?
Oh my God, Drake, but he had that incident with a 17-year-old, so I don't know how I feel about it anymore because he may be a pedophile.
Oh my God.
Michael Jordan can call me any day,
Okay.
any day, anytime. I don't know. I don't have a lot of
Anybody locally we know?
no.
Ooh.
Let me tell you, everybody in the world
Yes.
wants to act like they in love. When there was a blizzard and all the snow fell, I shoveled my own driveway. Don't inbox me. Don't DM me. You like me? You better call a motherfucking plow. If you can't call a plow truck, you don't like me the way I like to be liked, and you don't need to ever call me again.
Yes.
Yes.
Listen.
You want to talk. Boy, you better go ahead.
Yo.
I love it. Did you
Okay.
vote for Trump?
No. I literally knew that Hillary would win at least New York State. So when my son asked me to write his name in for president, I really had a hard internal debate. But I was like, baby, if Trump wins New York by 1 vote, I'm going to have to kill myself. So he cannot do it.
Word. What's the last book you read?
Becoming Michelle Obama.
Oh, was it great?
It is. Well, I love Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
I'm like a total fangirl. And also, I related a lot to when she talked about the way Barack was treated. Mr. Obama, I don't even know. I think that's who I'm crushing on.
That's your
Why
boy,
you
right?
playing?
Everybody
That's my
got
baby
their
daddy
beard
right there.
now too.
He
Have
does.
y'all see him?
Stop smoking cigarettes. Michelle got him all ready for me. I'm like, yes, girl, because I don't deal with the cigarettes.
Look, Michelle gonna get you now.
But she talked a lot about Michelle ain't got nowhere. He ain't going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere.
She talked a lot about the way that he was treated and how he was treated that way publicly, and no one did anything. No one, he was the president of the United States, and they had people outside of the White House shooting guns, and like things that were never acceptable to do to the president became acceptable when he was
I wonder
president.
why.
And she couldn't react, right? Because she's a monkey. She's an angry black woman. So she had to just be quiet and eat that.
Yeah,
And
sucks.
it was a beautiful testimony to me because I am not the master of that.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, you got a lot of growing to do,
Okay, so bra or no bra?
bruh, all the time.
Thank you. Please.
All the time?
Babe, the
And do you
girls
sleep
hang
in it?
low. I can tie them in a bow. Yeah, I sleep in it. I wear it unless
You do?
if I'm not in the shower, I have a bra on.
Oh
What?
my God.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get this all worked out, and I will never wear one again. But in the
okay.
interim,
Okay,
nah,
okay.
no.
Commando or no?
Commando,
Yes.
always. I don't even
She
know
get
what,
head for you wear jaws.
what are panties
I don't know
for.
what I wear.
You wear
know
under. You wear underwear.
I think panties
Bye.
are just decoration
She
for
totally
sex.
wears underwear.
How do you know?
Okay, do you wear underwear?
Y'all know a lot of stuff about each
Listen,
other.
She wears
I know
That's not about
underwear.
me.
100%.
Judge.
That's right. That's what you said. I'm the one answering the questions.
Would you smash on the first date?
No,
Yep.
I'm a total prude.
Have you ever had a one night stand?
No, I am sexually repressed.
Have you ever had sex in your robe?
No. Them robes is expensive as hell.
thirsty,
They like
dog.
$400, girl.
You had to buy your own robe?
You actually, when I got elected, they started giving them away. But yes, you buy them, and they're like $400. I have 3 of them. When I bought it, I was like, I'm gonna wear this damn robe everywhere. I don't own no $400 clothes.
In the grocery-
Hello.
grocery store. Everywhere.
Exactly. I'm
Everywhere.
like, I'm gonna just stunt in this one.
So talk about you being elected. You
Yes.
were the first Hispanic woman elected in the city of Rochester.
Yeah, so that's how this started. Everybody was like, why'd you say first Hispanic woman? I'm like, well, because people act like they don't know what Latinx means. Like, no, why didn't you say black? I'm like, because it's mad black women on the bench. Like, you don't know Johnson and Dixon and Morrison.
Right.
So I wasn't the first. They were already here.
But there was
Hispanic
never
guest.
a Hispanic
That's
female
super dope.
who had gotten
So
it.
you came in breaking barriers, breaking chains.
Oh, I came in and I wasn't supported. Like, even though I was a Black and Puerto Rican woman from the city of Rochester who was a teen mom who pulled herself up by the bootstraps when she didn't have boots, the Democrats endorsed a different candidate. They endorsed a white man. And I was not the candidate. I did not have any political support because I don't have any political backing. I'm just a hood girl who got a law degree. I'm
Right.
not, any cool person with political connections or affiliations at all.
And we were saying, just touching on a little bit earlier, you put yourself through school when you went to Buff State, was it?
I started
You
at
did.
MCC, actually. I wanted to clear
Yeah.
that up
No,
and
no,
shout
no.
out MCC
I was
because
okay.
Yeah.
I started at MCC. I finished. So I had my daughter when I was 17.
Mhm.
I was a senior when she was born.
Oh, you need to correct them because they put in the news it was a junior.
I got pregnant when I was a
Okay,
junior.
juniors had her.
I had her when I was a senior.
Okay.
I finished high school in January because I had her in December. So I accommodated my school course so I could finish early. I started college in June,
Mm-hmm.
and I just went to MCC year round and finished in a year.
Yes.
And then I went to UB, and I just stayed.
So did you always know you wanted to be in like the law?
No, I wanted to be an actress.
Oh.
Mm.
I had absolutely no interest in the law. I didn't. Well, it depends where we're starting. When I was like younger, I wanted to marry a drug dealer because that was like what I thought was attainable.
Was that
Right,
the
right.
thing?
That's what
I
me and
think it's still a
all
thing.
that's what me and all my homegirls wanted to do. We wanted to like marry. We wanted to do
Marry a kingpin.
what we saw
If
because
you're gonna go big, marry the cartel.
Well,
Not just a regular.
well, what you want is what you see. You
Right.
want the options you know are available to you.
Yeah.
And then when I was like, okay, well, not that. I wanted to be an actress. And my mom, when I went to undergrad,
Mhm.
she was like, I majored in English. I wanted to major in theater. And she was like, no, you already been in plays. You already know how to act. You don't need to learn how to do that. Get a real job.
Mm.
And so then I
Okay,
majored
Mom.
in English. And she was like, you know how to speak English too? I'm like, okay, this is not going to
Like, Mom, bye.
And then after I finished undergrad, I was going to stop. And my daughter, I was going to stop going to school. And just on a fluke, I got a flyer that advertised that they had a dual degree program at UB for a master's in social work and a Juris Doctorate in law. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'll just apply and see what happens. So I applied to the school of social work, literally like in, I don't know, late July, August, and got in
Wow.
and applied to law school. And I only applied to UB. And I was like, if I'm supposed to go to law school, I guess I'll get in. And got in.
Wow.
So
How long total were you in school from starting from MCC to finish?
7 years.
Wow.
But that is not how long it should have taken. It should have taken 9 years.
Okay.
Just in case somebody's doing the math, because you do 4 years of undergrad, and then typically law school is 3 years, and then
You're
a
low-key a
master's is
genius.
2 years.
Yeah.
No, it.
Low key, you're a
Low-key
genius.
You know-
because how you skip 2
That's how you do it in
years.
2 years.
I
Yeah.
just never stopped going. I think that what I always I want people to take away from the situation, because I think people think that like you're so smart or you're so. I'm not. I just
But you
work
are.
hard. It's just hard work. Anybody can go to law school if you're
Of course.
dedicated to get through. Anybody, it's
But
just
not everybody
working.
can be a judge though. Listen,
Right.
Shakia, judge. No.
I would be a bomb judge.
Okay.
You know, you don't even know. I would kill it.
She had to look down.
Huh?
She had to look down.
I'd be in my courtroom like, everybody shut up. if I had to hit this gavel, okay, everybody going away.
Oh, you and me, Judge Johnson. Okay.
Uh-oh.
We already got one of those back.
So I want to talk, like, we want to talk about everything. You were in the media so heavy for so long, and I know it was ridiculous. I was so annoyed. Everybody was outraged by it, and I
I
don't think
stopped
that you were.
listening because I'm like, what,
I don't
what's
think it
going
was
on?
fair at all. But I want to. Do you think that your case a lot was race driven?
I think people get really upset, right? Because they're like, you're a race baiter and you're dividing the country, and because I'm the one who made up the MAGA term.
Right.
I think that my case was a unique combination of circumstances. I think partially it was definitely race. It was definitely gender, but primarily the primary issue with my case and me being elected at all is that I don't fit the image of what a judge should be. I don't in any regard make apologies or excuses or anything about who I am.
Right.
I don't pretend that I'm so, foofy and classy and like I am what I am. You get what you get. And when I was on the bench, it was the same exact thing. If you ever came into my courtroom, it was a very relaxed atmosphere. And when I started, it was really important to me that, I said to one of the deputies that I didn't get along with so well, I said, we're here because we want to be at court. I'm in court because I ran for this job and I got elected because I wanted to be a judge. You're here because you chose to take a deputy exam. You want to be here. Nobody in this goddamn courtroom besides us actually wants to come. They got arrested. They got charged with some. They don't want to be here.
So the only people that it makes sense to come in with a bad attitude are them.
Mhm.
You know, so if a person would come in and they'd be high, they got high because they were about to go to jail. I understand jail's not any fun. I'm not gonna say, oh no, I'm not gonna sentence you, go home. Or if somebody comes in and they have on regular clothes, I don't know that person's situation. I'm not gonna say go back home. Like you're here, you're at court. And I think that there was some friction about treating people like people.
Mhm.
And the people who appeared in my courtroom were very grateful. And it was kind of sad for them to be like, wow, you are so nice. You're so, or after I got off the bench, you know, I saw a lady one day. It was hilarious. We were walking back to the car and she was in her car and I was walking by and I never know whether it's love or hate or what somebody's, you know, impression's gonna be. And she's like, oh, you evicted me. And I'm like, well, let me cross the street, boo. Because it's whatever. You could get out the car, but I'm not about to, you get not in the car. Like, we're not doing that. And she's like, no, I love you. And like, that was the most beautiful thing. When all this was going on and it was being presented that I was this horrible, crazed alcoholic who somehow got this job, right? Like suffering through crazy alcoholism, I got elected. I'm like, y'all better go pick up a bottle then because I'm doing better than you.
Right.
It was all presented in the community was so supportive. It gave me very, very clearly the indication that what I wanted to do is what I was doing. And I don't know that what I wanted to do is what the criminal justice system is ready for.
Right.
With respect to all the reform and all the movements that are being made. I think that class was a big, big factor.
Mhm.
It wasn't even just race. It was like, you're a girl from the ghetto, but you still act like you're a girl from the ghetto. And I don't mean doing, being ratchet on the bench but, people would come in and I would treat them like human beings. Or if I knew them, I would say I knew them. And I would not be super formal. I wouldn't speak to people in a language they couldn't understand. I would speak English.
Right.
And I don't know that they're ready for all of that.
Right. So when you were sent to jail because the judge kept sending you back to jail, did you feel like you got treated wrong? Like were the deputies treating you?
Well,
like,
you know
how
what?
was it inside?
We're going to back up for a second. This is a question I've been dying to explore with someone, right?
Right.
Why did I go to jail? Can anybody tell me
Yeah.
why I went to jail?
Yeah. No, we don't know.
Nope.
Look,
I mean,
look at-
there's
look-
an
let me look at
impression.
Let me look at the top.
Right,
No,
there's some-
I don't see nothing.
No.
Because-
What is you?
Because I don't know why. I went to jail because there was the definite need to remind me that even if I'm in a Benz, I'm still a nigga in a coupe. And I don't know my place. I went to jail to put me in my place.
Yes.
But you can't put me in my place because guess what? I'll eat a motherfucking jail sentence. What's next? No problem. You want a year? I'll take your year. What you got? You can't break me. And that was the problem. When this happened, even before this happened, you guys don't know this, but I was already having lots of problems on the bench from the day I got elected with other judges. 2 judges in particular who are known to be the most harsh, nasty judges in terms of sentencing. They were constantly at me about the way that I sentenced people, about the way that I handled cases, about the way that I did.
Why they worry about what you doing in your
Worry about
courtroom?
your
Worry
own
about your own
courtroom.
courtroom.
And I
worry
would
about
be-
your own gavel.
And I would be like, worry about yourself.
That's my new favorite word. Worry about your own gavel.
I'm like, and so it'd be like, well, you're here and this is how we do things. And I would be like, no offense, but like, I have no intentions of emulating you. I don't want to
At
be
all.
anything like you on the
Right.
bench. So you do you, and I'm going to do me.
You
And-
that was the
boom.
problem.
That
Mhm.
went
You
on.
had a target from day one.
That went on from
Um,
prior to my election. There were 2 other candidates, and they were very heavily supported. And then once I took the bench, some people knew because some people saw it happen while they were in my court. But a lot of people didn't know that the issue started immediately. One judge literally said to me, and I'm not even joking to you, he was doing all this, and like I'm not about this stuff, right? He was emailing people around me, and then finally one day he sent an email, he accidentally CC'd me, and I got up and pressed him. Like I went to chambers,
Yeah.
and he
You're like,
wasn't there, so I went to the bench, and he wouldn't get off. So then next time he was in chambers, I pressed him. I was like, you need to talk because you're mad old. Like what? This is Degrassi High Senior Citizen Edition. I literally am around the corner from you. Come have a conversation.
Right.
And he told me, I know about the type of person you are. I know the community you come from. People like you don't belong on the bench.
Ooh, the nerve.
You wear flip-flops.
Wow.
And I was like,
Dang.
I got on flip-flops right now. First of all, but I got a pedicure. So like, why you even coming for me? I don't understand.
Show off her big step.
I never ever wore flip-flops on the bench.
That is crazy.
Okay,
though.
I would
Even-
wear stilettos, or no, I'm lying. I was not wearing no damn stilettos. I would wear like some 3 to 4 inch heels, But when I got off the bench, I would take them shits off because I'm not that pretty. I would put on some flip flops and walk around comfortably. Why do you care? What do you care?
Why does that have to do with anything with my character and what I do as a judge when I'm doing on the bench? Because I have on flip flops. So what does that have to do with anything?
No, it has to do with, like he said, he knows who I am. He knows the
The nerd.
community
Like,
that
he
I
got
come
hurt.
from.
He think
No,
he
no,
knows.
he knows where I come from. Everybody knows where I come from. You know, I grew up here. My dad was was a drug dealer. Like they know, and that's why
Who
when
dad
you say-
wasn't. Mine wasn't.
Well, most of the judges,
not you, dad.
most of the judges' dads weren't. And so when I say the community I come from or a class issue, it
Right.
was that. It was like, we don't want people like you thinking that they can become people in these positions.
Oh wow.
And I will forever and always believe that that is the reason that all of this played out the way that it did, because it was to teach me, and not to teach me, because I got a law degree. And if that law degree, I mean, I care. I worked my ass off, but I have a law degree. And if that doesn't work out, I got a master's in social work. And if that doesn't work out, guess what? I'm going to be all right. Like, I'm a hustler. I know how to get. But the point
that
was,
girl from that hood that he thought was a problem know how to make it.
but the point is,
He
he
pissed
wanted
me off.
to
Who is
teach.
he? Where he at?
He's retired now.
Egg
Thanks,
his house.
Jesus.
He better.
But he
Down.
wanted to teach the girls behind me, not to try it. Don't try it, because
Somebody
this is what
There's
said-
gonna
happens.
be more people coming behind you.
There definitely are, because I'm gonna be mentoring them. Sorry, I
should.
didn't mean to mess up your phone.
No, you're fine. But somebody said I thought that she went into jail for probation violation.
I wasn't on probation when I went to jail. Next, try it again, boo boo. No, I didn't.
Yes.
Oh,
You tried it and you failed. I had a conditional discharge.
Let them know.
My conditional discharge was over. I had met all the terms and conditions of my conditional discharge prior to deciding to go to Thailand. Because what the fuck was I
Talk
here
to me
for?
nice.
Every time I
Talk to me
turned
nice.
around, it was like, oh, you did this. Oh, you had a cup. Oh, you looked over here. Or I was getting arrested day and night over nothing because people were pissed because I made $190,000 a year. So since they were angry and they couldn't stop, I was like, you know what? I have no reason to be here. I'm literally not allowed to go to work, which has never happened to any white person, including the 2 judges who got arrested for felonies while my charges were pending. Has never happened. So I was like, I'm not allowed to go to work. I just keep getting charged with stuff. It keeps getting dismissed, but it's making me look bad. So I will just take this opportunity to get up and get out of here. I had my eat, pray, love moment. I was like, I'm going to go to Thailand. I wasn't on probation. I had a conditional discharge. There were no conditions of my conditional discharge that prevented me from leaving the country. So what did I do? What did I violate? Please, I don't know who you talking to, but come on, let me know. What was illegal about me going to
Here's the
Thailand?
Like, can you sue? Like,
they said I just asked the question, so she just cleared it up.
I'm not watching it at all. So I'm sorry I get hot and bothered. I'm not upset with
This is your
anybody.
life. I mean,
Right,
this
but this
the
is
day.
my
Yes,
life.
you
Right.
do this every
I
day.
went to jail and everybody assumes that I did something wrong. Everybody's like, you violated probation. I wasn't on probation. I had a conditional discharge that was set to expire in August. Okay, let's talk about that. Was set to expire in August, and this case would have been over. And they found a reason to create a situation to put me back in the media to keep it going. Because what did I say from the outset? I said, I just want this to be over.
Right.
I kept saying, I just want this to be over. Whatever you want me to do, I just want it to be over. When I went to jail in May, and nobody can say for what, literally, no. The judge literally in his decision said, well, legally, you could have gone to Thailand, but you shouldn't have. Excuse me?
Why?
I'm all about following the rules,
Because
and
they
there's no
said-
rule
they
here.
said, odd trip. I had wrote that down. So I'm like, what was so odd about your trip?
He said that he
Because
didn't
you was in
understand.
Thailand and he wasn't.
He didn't understand. According to the rules, he didn't think I was allowed to take vacation for more than a month. Why are you looking at the judicial rules when I haven't been to work since November and I haven't been allowed to go to work since November? So whether I'm on vacation or I'm sitting in my house, what difference will it make? I can't go to work. So I got up and I was like, I'm not doing anything good here. It is really putting me in a bad space mentally to be around people who are constantly hating on me and attacking me. I was like, it was my birthday. I had turned
What is the birthday trip? Like,
I-
people take trips all the time.
It was my birthday, and to be honest, I had just done a treatment program that I hadn't been recommended to do, but that I was trying to do to appease my employer. I finished the treatment program. I was super hyped, like, okay, you happy now?
But
Let
they
me come
never-
back to
they
work.
Never said anything. Like nobody
Yeah.
ever. Like,
Because there was an intentional, this is why I get mad that we like to attack each other, because if people would have been like, wait, this doesn't make sense, the people who elected me, the people who believe in me, the people who support me that I love and appreciate, if they wouldn't have been doubting me, if they would have given me the benefit of the doubt, this might have changed. But when I
had loyalty,
went to jail in May, everybody was like, well, you must have done something incorrect. But I didn't.
But you didn't.
When this happened, you have to know that on May 26th, the judge knew I was in Thailand. At 5 o'clock, 4:30 p.m. on a Friday, he told my lawyer that I had court at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday. That's literally and Monday was a holiday. That's literally no business day's notice. I can't kick you out your house if I don't give you
proper
a
notice.
proper notice. If I don't give you enough days. But you can take my liberty without giving me notification. He knew I was in Asia and scheduled a court date for Tuesday. I told my lawyer, I need like a week. He doesn't have the authority to order me to come home, first of all. But I'll come home. I need like a week to get there. My lawyer goes to court doesn't ask for an adjournment, reads an email to me in violation of attorney-client privilege. The judge says, I'm issuing a warrant, no bail, no release. I've literally never missed a court date. He knows I'm in Asia.
Wow.
And he says he's issuing a warrant. What do? Because I'm a big flight risk, right? Because I'm a big lawbreaker. I book a flight back to Rochester with a goddamn open warrant so I can come and handle this and take care of it, knowing that I'm coming home to get arrested over nothing, just to make a spectacle of me and to humiliate me and embarrass me and try to kill the legacy that I've spent my life building. I come home anyway and get arrested. And still to this day, now I'm still right now on probation over this, which I wasn't on probation then, but I get arrested and sentenced to 60 days in jail and 3 years of probation, and nobody can tell me for what.
Can you sue?
That was the question.
It is very difficult to sue elected officials when they operate in their capacity, because they're immune. There's literally immunity. Like prosecutors, judges are typically immune, and that is why they're able to do
the crap they
whatever
do.
they
That's
do.
why they do the bullshit they do.
Right. And so it is difficult to sue. And literally, I've spoken to so many attorneys, and I'm like, can somebody, like, not even from an angry place, can somebody just tell me what I went to jail for, like how I violated? Because, like, it's supposed to be a willful violation, right? So you're supposed to know you're doing something wrong. I have a law degree. I was a judge. I still can't tell you. And nobody can tell me. Everybody's answer is always you violated probation. Then when I say I wasn't on probation, they say you fled the country. Well, no, I can leave the country if I want to. I'm grown as hell. I got a passport. Like, what are we talking about?
Right.
I don't have travel restrictions. Why do I have to be in Rochester?
And I think the media too really amped this.
Oh
case
my
a lot.
God, they
really,
drugged the
they
case.
made you seem like
It
the
was
most
like going to
horrible
her
person
house,
ever.
pulling
Like,
up at her house.
Listen, if I didn't, get to talk to you today, and I just based everything off of, I'd be like, she is. I'm not trying to judge, but anybody else would be like, what is going on with her? Like, how does she even get in office? Like, that's the what the media
that's
tried
what
to
they tried
portray
to do,
in our
yeah.
households. Like, you are horrible. Like, you didn't
There
deserve
was
to
a
be
very,
there.
very big attack on my character. And that was twofold. One, my administration was definitely helping the media. My administration definitely gave them information. Like I said, they literally published. I got a letter yesterday from jail. I get letters from jail regularly because defendants saw when my information was broadcasted online, they still have my home address. And they're like, I know you're not a judge. Do I have a chance? And I'm like, baby, you still a defendant. It's a no. But like, seriously, they gave them that information. That information came from my own employer.
Wow.
So when you say I'm not reacting the way that you would expect me to, or I'm not, you have to think about the fact that this is all going on and I'm under attack by my own employer, as well as the media, as well as some of the community. And I'm sorry if you don't think I handled it properly. I would have liked to fight you all, but that wasn't an option. So I was trying to keep it classy. And I was like, you know what's a better idea? Let me flee before I spaz out and show you who I really am.
I want to read something again from somebody else. They said she was taunting those white people with pictures, holding drinks and shit. Love Leticia, intelligent woman, but victim. You did.
You're talking to an idiot. I was holding a coconut.
Nothing.
I was holding a coconut. The video that they're talking about where the picture where I'm taunting white people is a picture of me holding a coconut where I'm literally eating coconut ice cream. But it's okay. You go on and hate yourself, baby. You go on and believe what they told you. I don't know who you're talking to, but I don't want to talk to them anymore.
Okay.
I'm saying, like, people create
It's
their
just one of
own.
those situations where, like you said,
Nobody
like how
knows if you weren't
in our
there. You don't
community
know.
how they're so quick to believe in
Exactly. And like
and we don't really know the truth. We don't.
well,
really
it's okay
know what
because I'm gonna
happened.
pull up the picture. I was taunting the white people. Guess what? I could taunt a motherfucking white person if I want to. It's not illegal.
True.
Let me break the law and then penalize me for breaking the law. Don't tell me that I get a different set of rules because I'm too brown or I'm too victim. No, not a victim. You know what? Like I said, I went to jail and I ate it. No problem. And when it came time for sentencing, I was like, oh, you know what? You're going to send me to jail whenever you want to from now on. I'll take my year right now. How is that me being a victim? Nobody gets a year on a DWI. Ever. Nobody goes to jail on a DWI.
Right.
Ever. And I don't care which one of y'all, like plenty of people have DWIs. You drink if you want to. You do what you want to. I'm 37 years old. It's not illegal for me to consume alcohol. So the fact that we have 15,000 conversations about whether I did or not is really stupid. Let's talk about breaking the law. In fact, it's hilarious. There's a white judge who just had a
I
DWI.
was gonna ask,
went
have
to
you heard of any
treatment.
other cases
That
are
are a
very
billion.
similar to yours, like
Well,
to the T.
He got a DWI.
Mhm.
After his DWI, he was ordered to do treatment. After he did treatment, he was not supposed to have alcohol for a year. They saw him at an event drinking. He's still a judge, and now he has been promoted.
Wow.
So, whatever. You can miss me with the bullshit. I don't want to argue with people because I'm done defending myself. Oh, but I will show you the picture of me holding a coconut. And whoever you're talking to, get yourself a vacation, baby, so you can find out what a coconut looks like.
Boom.
Yeah, and I think that's just the issue. Like, everybody was so quick to be like, Shay Daddy, Shay Daddy, Shay Daddy. And it's
Everybody
like,
who
come on,
didn't bother to even
Right.
come to my trial, like, tell me something about how I got convicted. Oh, you can't. So can you shut up? No, you have to talk because you're adding what?
Mhm.
What are you adding to this conversation? Like, what? Hurt people hurt people. Get a therapist.
Wow.
I love it.
So while you're finding the picture, I want to know if you could have dinner with anybody, past, present, or future, who would it be?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. It would be a party. Do I have to pick one person? I'm
You
like,
pick two. Do two.
oh, this is
Past,
such a profound question. I don't even know the answer, to be honest with you. I'm like, every time,
Right.
okay, Oprah. I'm going to pick Oprah and I'm going to settle for her because Oprah is every woman. Oprah and Michelle, girl, and I'm going to just get my whole life right then.
I think it's still that's
Oprah and
possible.
Michelle. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
possible.
that's why I picked them. I'm speaking that into
Yeah.
existence. They going to be on my
Just
book
like us
tour.
with you-
That's it. I'm like, Michelle
Right?
and Oprah, they going
I
to
hear
be my
that.
host on my book
Yeah.
tour.
That's dope.
Yeah, it is.
So, what other talents do you possess? I know you said you wanted to be an actress.
I don't have any talents.
You sing?
No, hell no. Not even, no, absolutely not. I'm
You
a
can't
horrible
pop,
singer.
lock, and drop it?
So do you know how to
drop
do
it.
I can pop, lock, and drop it, but I try not to because I'm old. I'm like, girl, sit your old
You
behind
37.
down.
So everybody want
Why?
to know, did you go to DR?
I actually did go to DR. I already disclosed this. I got a tummy tuck.
Right.
Okay.
I got a
see
tummy
that.
tuck after I actually right before this happened, oddly
Oh.
enough, I had gotten a tummy tuck and had come home, which is another reason I'm like, if you weren't a fucking idiot, you know I wasn't even drinking right then because I just had surgery. But I had gotten a tummy tuck.
She even said she getting ready to get her boob. But she gonna get.
I'm not
Yeah,
going.
like,
I'm not going to DR for that. Their boobs are square. But
That's square.
I don't want any square boobs. But no, I got a tummy tuck, and it was an interesting experience.
Mhm.
But I'm not anti-plastic surgery at all. Do whatever makes you feel good about yourself.
So who do you listen to now, like album wise? Do you have like a favorite artist? Or
I am in
somebody?
love with Janae Aiko. She's my freaking spirit animal.
She's good.
I
Her
absolutely
music is amazing. Very
love her.
Zen,
Yeah,
relaxing,
because I get a little hot and bothered.
which is fine.
So I be needing
You have,
Janae
you
to
have every right.
bring me back. I just don't like. I have no problem having a conversation where you want to have a conversation and gain information.
Mhm.
If you want to attack me, then like man up and let's do it. Don't pretend we're having a conversation. Attack me. Like do what it is, and don't try to hide behind it. I don't like hiding your hand. I like very direct communication.
Well, people love to attack things that they don't really know about. I don't know why people do that.
Yeah. So from the beginning of the case to the end of the case, it was what, a 2-year span?
This happened February 13th, 2016.
Okay.
So we're going on 3 years.
So it's still going
This is still going on. I'm literally still on probation currently right now. No one has ever dealt with a DWI conviction this long in their life. If you want to say I was guilty even though you weren't there, that's fine. Whatever. Okay, I was guilty. It's still 2019. Why are we talking about this?
Right.
So are you officially, like today, are you still considered a judge?
No, I was removed. I'm not a judge anymore.
So can you ever become a judge again in another state?
So New York State has a very odd portion of their constitution. I pissed off Judicial Commission big time, right? Because I was like, well, if they remove me, I'll just run again and I'll win again. And they were really irritated by that. I meant it.
Right.
And if I ran, I would win. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk and I'm not trying to be, but if
Oh,
I
hell yeah,
ran,
you'll win.
I would win. But there's a portion of the Constitution that says that if you are removed, you're ineligible for office.
Okay.
Now, obviously, the New York State Constitution doesn't control anywhere else in the entire world. But there is a portion of the New York State Constitution that says that. So unless that is changed, which
New York State, no.
in New York State,
But
I
anywhere
don't.
else.
I'm not gonna say no because I'm not gonna speak that over my life either. But in New York State, I think it would be difficult.
Would
Um,
you, go ahead. I'm
Take
sorry.
it down. No, I'm just trying to.
Would you like to return to the bench?
I would. I was amazing at my job. And again, I'm very hesitant to say that there's things I'm good at. Like, I'm not a person who brags on myself. I'm always amazed and honored and humbled that I'm even in a position that, like, I never saw this being my life. You know what I mean? But I think that I brought a level of compassion and understanding to the bench that people don't have, because I've seen plenty of my loved ones go to jail. I've seen plenty of my loved ones not be able to make bail. When I was in the DA's office, they used to say all the time, you have more in common with the defendants than you do with us. And when they would get rowdy and be like, this is a bad person, I'd be like, no, it's not a bad person. You don't like what they did. That doesn't make them a bad person. And I would say, like, watch your mouth, because remember, I have more in common with them than I do with you.
Right.
So I think it's
So they just didn't
important.
like you because of probably that, the compassion, the ability to relate and all of that stuff was an issue for them.
Well, I was asked before if I wanted to be a social worker or a judge, and that I had to pick one. And I said I didn't have to pick one. I could be both because judges and because people needed social workers and judges simultaneously. So just to let you know, this is the picture in question. Maybe I look how it's bad then. But that is the picture in question where everyone in the media decided that I was holding a drink. And if you look at what I'm assuming they think is the cup, look back here. You see how that cup is ragged and not straight and not even? That's because it's a coconut. And you see how this thing right here that you decided was a straw? That's a spoon. Because I'm eating coconut ice cream. And the shit was nasty too. It wasn't even good. But I never even
it's a coconut. She's eating ice cream out of a coconut.
I never even considered that people were so bored and bitter that they would go and look through my photos or follow me on Instagram.
See that it's ice cream.
It's ice cream and a coconut. But when I was in Thailand, I didn't have a phone, right? Because I'm cheap as hell and I wasn't paying for it. So I only had internet service. So I was posting to my private Instagram and to my private Facebook to talk to my private family because that's who I was communicating with. And I was only communicating with them through social media. Unbeknownst to me, I was being stalked because apparently it's okay to stalk me. But nobody bothered to ask me a word. It was like, or I went to the hotel where they shot The Hangover. And they were like, why would you be at that hotel?
Why
like,
not?
Can you get a
Like,
life?
please.
Can you wait until I do something illegal or can you shut up? And so it's like, yeah, I do get an attitude, but I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of it.
I think this is a question everybody wants to know. When you were pulled over initially and when you were arrested, were you drunk?
No, I wasn't pulled over either. I had already pulled my own car over to the shoulder of the road with my hazards on and called a friend to come get me.
That's what happened?
I was not stopped by any police. I was on my way to the gym. I was going to the Elm Grove Y to do body pump. While I was riding, I don't know if my tire blew out or if I hit something in the road. Either way, but it was a blizzard. If you recall, it started snowing on Thursday of February 2016, and it didn't stop until Tuesday. Literally on Tuesday, the county closed. There was a state of emergency. We had a whole snowstorm. It started snowing that Thursday. I didn't have arraignments on Friday. I had arraignment Saturday morning. February 13th, 2015, my little cousin was murdered. It was literally the year before to the hour. Like it was 7 o'clock in the morning. My little cousin was in the streets to a degree, and he helped me with my campaign. Like, he didn't vote. His friends didn't vote. It was hood dudes that carried my lawn signs, that carried my petitions, that got me elected. It was a bunch of hood dudes from Milton and Thurston who, like, held the West Side down for me, had 14619 showing up and showing out, had crazy signs over there. So he never even got to see me on the bench. I had been on the bench for 1 month before my cousin was murdered. The day that this all happened was the day of his murder. I woke up and I was in a shitty mood. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to say for a second that I don't drink now, but that I didn't drink. I did drink. And there were several instances prior to that, prior to going to DR, where I had definitely been drinking too much. I was going through my own stuff and whatever. I had been drinking too much. But I had actually stopped drinking after that trip. And this particular morning, I got up saying, I'm going to go to the gym because today's going to be a shitty day because I'm going to be in my feelings all day about my cousin. So I'm going to start off by going to the gym because that will set the tone for the rest of my day. So I got up to drive to the Y. I'm in a blizzard. I have this blowout. In the middle of this situation, right, I hit the median. This is not a surprise, but I don't know if you guys have ever hit something and you don't realize that, like, you got an accident, whatever, but you think your car's okay.
Yeah.
So I hit it and I was like, whatever, my tire's flat. And now I'm starting to think about other stuff. I have to go to work at 9:30. I was going to the gym for 8 o'clock, but it's like 7:30-ish by the time I call my friend. He's in Webster. He's like, I'll come get you, but I'm all the way in Webster and it's a blizzard. It's going to take me a while. While I'm sitting roadside, perfectly pulled over to the side of the road with 2 flat tires, which I'm like, I'm drunk and I could do that. Who am I, David Andriotta? I'm pulled over no, that's the wrong person. I didn't mean to shout him out. I meant the race car driver. But I'm pulled over on the shoulder of the road and a trooper pulls up behind me and he's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm not driving. I'm not driving my car. I'm sitting in my car. And there's no evidence of operation in my case, but nobody cares about that. So whatever. So I just let it go. I was just like, nobody else would have ever been convicted of anything under these circumstances. I literally passed my field sobriety test.
So
Why would he even question it?
DUI?
Yeah.
What is happening?
I don't have to be honest with you, and I don't think this was some big conspiracy theory at all. I don't think that he knew who I was, or I think that
Definitely.
when he pulled me over, he asked me.
Definitely knew who you was.
He asked me to get out of my car. I got out of the car because
For what?
No, first when he approached me, he goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine." He's like, "Were you in an accident?" I'm like, "No, I got a flat." Because even though I knew I'd hit the median, I didn't think my car was messed up. I didn't think it was that messed up. And I hit shit all the time. I hit my own house. I didn't hit another person. I'm about to keep it moving. I'm not paying a $500 deductible. Ain't nobody rich. I drive a Hyundai. Who the hell care? So I was like, well, whatever.
You definitely have a coin, but go ahead.
so he's like, well, get out the car. I get out the car. I look, and I'm like, oh shit, my car is messed up. He's like, you didn't know that? I'm like, no, I knew I hit the median, but I didn't know that I really messed up my car. And so he goes, you got a fruity smell. And I'm like, okay. I don't know what you're saying to me. He goes, you smell like fruit. I said, well, I put coconut oil on my body. I put mango butter in my hair. I apricot scrub on my face.
Right.
I'm like, you want some juices and berries, baby? What you want? I got you. What do you need? I'm not having any idea where this is going. Because I've been a DA, I've been a judge, I've been a defense attorney. I know how to be a DWI. So when this first happened, I was most upset about that. I'm like, you're insulting my intelligence. You think I don't know how to beat a DWI? If I'm drunk, I'm getting in the back seat. I'm getting in the passenger seat. I'm taking the keys out the car. I'm getting out of the car. There's so many things I could have done if I was drunk to avoid this ever being able to go any further. So I was very upset because two things. Number one, you're saying that I'm going to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. And you could ask anybody in Rochester. I ain't never been to work 2.5 hours early. Okay, I roll up around 9:35, 9:45, and court starts at 9:30. You've never seen me going to work that early. Number two, I live right off of Lake Avenue. So you're presenting this whole narrative from the outset that's completely and patently untrue, and everybody knew that and allowed it to be presented.
So this whole mess from the beginning was
from the beginning.
Because I didn't know all the facts, so I never was like, oh, she did. I always was like, leave that lady alone, leave her alone. I always stood behind that. But I thought that you literally were pulled over and had a DUI. I thought that part was what happened.
I feel
like that is not even the
case. I was not pulled over. I was sitting in my car stationary, and an operation requires, that you specify. So even if your car's not moving, you have to evince an intent to put your car into motion, meaning that if the trooper says to me, where are you going? I say, oh, I'm going here or there. I don't say I'm waiting for a friend, I have a flat. Because what I'm waiting for a friend, I have a flat means is I'm not driving because I'm not intending to move this motor vehicle. And since you didn't see me moving the motor vehicle, you need to prove operation, which typically happens because you say, well, when did you leave? When did you last drive? But no, none of that came into evidence in my case. It didn't matter in my case.
See, that changes.
That
is crazy.
But so when he starts with the fruity, right? I'm telling him the different smells, and then he goes, no, I smell alcohol if you've been drinking today. And so that's the first time I'm like, oh, we're doing this. You about to try it. Oh, you tried it. I'm like, no, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'll get drunk and then go to the gym. So he's like, when's the last time you drank? And I was like, I'm not playing this game with you. I'm not even going to play this game with you. I said I didn't drink today. The last time I drank is irrelevant because basically he's trying to say, well, were you drinking yesterday and you're super drunk still today? Right. So I said, well, I'm not having this discussion with you any longer. I'm going to get back in my car. And he goes, well, no, get in my car. I was like, no, thanks. And he goes, so you're resisting arrest.
I'm under arrest?
This is the whole conversation. Literally, I talked to this man for 3 minutes max. He goes, you're going to resist arrest? And I'm like, arrest for what? He's like, DWI. And this is where I know, in retrospect, that it all went left. I said, you don't have sufficient probable cause for a DWI. Now, mind you, I look like a homeless person because that's how I roll. That's my signature look. I have on sneakers and yoga pants and a hoodie.
Yeah, because you're going to the
And
gym.
I'm going to the gym, and I didn't do anything, right? I rolled out of bed and was like, I'm going to the gym because I planned on going home before I went to work.
Right.
And I'm like, you don't have sufficient probable cause to make an arrest. An odor that is fruity while I'm chewing gum, standing on roadside, and I just told you there's multiple things in me. So he got irritated because he felt like I'm this ghetto black girl getting smart with him. And I probably was, to be honest, because I knew the law and he didn't. And that has always been my ace in the hole. You can't attack me or put me down or make, because I know the law. Absolutely. Right? And so I'm saying these things to him, and I'm like, you don't have sufficient probable cause, so it's no point in even bothering with this. Why don't we just go on about our day? My friend will be here in a minute. Cut it out. Stop it. Odor of a fruity odor is not enough to arrest somebody because the case law says that an odor of alcohol is not enough to arrest somebody. So what are you talking about? So
I hope y'all catching all these Jews she dropping.
She giving
everybody gonna be like, first of all, no, I'm not probable cause. I don't feel like they gonna be like,
listen, this is Peach.
But so right, so he's like, oh, well, you can get in the car or you can get arrested for resisting arrest as well. Now at this point, I'm not worried about the DWI because I'm like, I'm not driving, I'm not drunk, and you don't have any probable cause. So this is gonna get tossed out, and I'm like, don't create a situation where you get arrested for something that will actually stick.
Did you
just
have to
shut
blow
up,
at all
eat it,
anything?
So you realize that comes super, super later. Like when you take a breathalyzer, it's later, much later. You don't take it right then. They can come and give you a roadside pre-screen, but that also is not admissible in court.
Ooh, listen.
It is not admissible. It is
Got it.
literally just to see whether or not the odor of alcohol is present or if there's alcohol on your breath. That's it. So a pre-screen will give you a readout, right? And it will give you an amount, but that amount or that number in the pre-screen is inadmissible because it's unreliable. Because the little machines, when you go to the station and you take a breathalyzer, those have to be calibrated every 6 months. You have to have it sent in. You have to check it and make sure the ampules are proper and that the gas chromatograph is properly functioning, and it has like a whole scientific test. So the roadside calibrations are literally like thrown in a trooper's glove box and left there to die forever. So since they're not calibrated, you can't use them. So, but he says I'm under arrest. I get in his car. When I get in his car, he keeps trying to talk to me, and I'm like, look, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm very uncomfortable. You already arrested me in violation of my constitutional rights. I don't know what you might do. For all I know, you're going to shoot me. He flips. He totally flips. He's upset. He tells me I'm a racist. The whole thing goes left. So then my friend comes, but I'm already under arrest. While I'm under arrest, I'm like, okay, well, can I take field sobriety test? Because I'm not drunk. And you're about,
like,
So you
like,
asked
test
for
me.
it, yeah.
I'm like, you're about to mess up my whole life right now. Because it doesn't matter whether I'm drunk or not. It's going to look very bad, right? So I go, can I take field sobriety test? He goes, well, yeah, you could do walk and turn. You could do, so first of all, NHTSA, the National Highway of Traffic Safety Administration, who tells you how to do your job, says that you have to ask me if there's anything that prevents me from taking field sobriety tests before you give them to me. That's in the manual. So since you forgot, no problem. I actually have had a brain injury. I had brain surgery. I have what's called Chiari malformation decompression surgery, and I cannot perform field sobriety tests. I can't do it. I don't have the proper balance to walk and turn. In fact, I have nystagmus normally. I was diagnosed with this by taking field sobriety tests. So he's like, oh, so you have some legal job and you're able to have.
Did you ever say to him, I'm a judge? What
No.
did you tell him?
No,
Did you don't want to? Did you not want to like
because
put that out there?
if you're a judge and you say that to a police officer, they can say that you're using it to get out of your,
Okay.
which is stupid because as a
I
judge you
feel
can
like
have
people do it all-
as a judge you can have judges plates. You can literally have license plates that identify you as a judge, so you never get pulled over in the first place.
Right.
But I didn't want to mess anything up. I wanted to do this perfectly, so I didn't say I'm a judge. What I did say to him is when he said, where are you going now? I said, well, now I'm going to arraignments at 9:30 because I wasn't going to the gym anymore. So that's how that whole story got flipped. But if you look, which nobody bothered, but at my 7:10:30, it says, I'm going to the Elm Grove Y. I'm going to a body pump class because that is where I was going and that is what I told him. But so he says he guessed that I was some type of legal professional, right? Or some type of, because I was quoting the law to him. He goes, you're a legal professional and you get to make decisions about people's lives, but you're brain damaged.
Wow.
So then I got even more angry. I was like, okay, well, here we go. Am I lying? Or is there a gigantic scar in the back of my head where you can see that I had brain surgery and you're disrespectful because you're saying that anybody with a brain injury is not intelligent enough to be able to
Right.
do.
Yeah.
So we were just like fighting. So he says, all right, are you familiar with the alphabet? Say the alphabet from C to T without stopping,
I
without
can't even
singing.
do that.
I did it. I passed. Count backwards from 79 to 52 without stopping. And I did it. And I said, okay, can we stop playing this fucking game now? Because I'm not drunk and I don't want to play with you. I have other things to do. I have to go. I have to go to work. No, I'm still under arrest. So,
back up. Where's the backup?
so
I'd be like,
I
"Get
was
somebody else."
irritated and angry from the beginning because it was like, you know what? I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was drunk and I didn't
So
know.
then to
Maybe-
have to get put through all of that for nothing, really.
Right.
It's crazy.
Well, and this has all come out. It might not have come out in the news, but I said, I was like, the night before I had gone to dinner with my kids, I did drink wine. That's why I didn't tell him when I was last drinking, because I already saw where he was going. So I started to be like, are you crazy? Did you drink more than you thought? You had like 3 glasses max of wine. Could you still be drunk 7 hours later? Are you? Then I went to my own trial and I was like, well, damn, y'all don't got no proof. Like, even if I
Right.
was actually intoxicated, you still have to prove it.
Right.
And at my trial, that's just not what I experienced, because there was no proof of operation and there was no proof of intoxication. So I was
So
real,
where's all this? Like,
on
why
my
is
all
it
of this.
happening?
3 years later.
and it's still going
Or
on.
what?
So what's funny is now people are like, wow, well, now that this has been going on for the last 10 billion years of your life, I think that maybe they have something against you. And I'm like,
Oh, you
Oh,
think?
now people are coming.
do
to
you
that
think
conclusion.
maybe? They're like, who would go this hard? Who would try this long? Who would do what? They must have something against you. And I'm like, it's funny because when I said from the outset, this don't have shit to do with a DWI, everybody was
Everybody
like,
thought it was a joke.
oh, you know, you're so, conspiracy theory. Da, da, da. But no, like, There's transcripts.
People was upset because you were smiling. Like, leave her alone. I want her to be boo crying.
Right.
Yes.
She's smiling. She's taking it as a joke.
Right.
Smile.
She doesn't
They were
care.
outraged. Oh my gosh, she gets to sit home and make her money. I'm mad because she's making this money. She's a minority. She's a woman. Oh, that's what the problem was.
There's a police officer who shot an unarmed black man, I think 3 to 5 times, and said that he had a gun. And the black man was found to have no gunshot residue on his hands. His fingerprints were not on the gun, and he has been on leave because he has post-traumatic stress disorder for shooting this man for the last 5 years, and everybody is crickets. So I don't want to hear anything about how my employer literally told me that I wasn't allowed to come to work in another attempt to shame me and to turn the public against me and the taxpayers' dollars.
I was gonna say.
Tell me about them
how is that
taxpayers.
allowed that you couldn't even come to work.
It's not. It's never happened before ever. It was a part of the public shaming. I actually saw something today that talked about how you disparage people of color who have gotten too big for their britches. You humiliate them publicly and remind them who they are. And I wish that I could be corrected more easily, because I bring a lot of suffering upon myself because I won't be quiet and because I can't
You
be
shouldn't,
silenced,
though,
and because
but I don't think that you should be.
and it is a very difficult situation because it's like, damn, I'm continuing to set myself up to be punished, but it's like so many people died for me to be able to do this that I'd be disrespecting their legacy by not calling it for what it is.
Right.
And when I was a judge, I couldn't say anything. Judges are not allowed to comment on pending cases. So if I would post something on social media about my own case, Judicial Commission would be like, oh, this may be a violation. Perhaps we should remove you. So I couldn't defend myself. And for the first time ever in the history of man, the administration that I worked for was also attacking me. And I couldn't say anything to defend myself. I didn't have an audience. So people were like, you started going on social media all the time. And it was because just like when our president can tweet a message and everybody decides what the media says is fake, it was the only way I felt I could actually talk to the people that supported me and the constituents that cared to hear me. And I wanted to say to them, you guys, I have so much respect and love for the trust that you've given me to do this. I would never ever do the stuff, even if, let's say, I made a mistake and I was drunk. I've driven drunk before. I'm not saying that I'm above anybody's law. I'm not proud of it. I'm not bragging, but I've driven drunk before. There was actually a time prior to this happening, like I said, there were a few instances where I was like, you need to check yourself and cut the shit with the drinking, where I was at Taylor's and I was driving home from Taylor's. It was the only time I had ever gone there. And as I was driving, I was like, I'm drunk. I realized it I was like, I don't know what to do. Do I pull over and wait? Do I just get home? And I was like, this shit is not cool. Who are you? Like, I don't believe it is not the right way to say it, but like there are people in this world that unfortunately I might like to die. Like I might just not like them. I'm not going to irresponsibly get in a car and kill a stranger when there's people on my people to kill list.
Right.
So
I have a people to kill this.
Right.
Watch it.
I mean, I'm not going to get in the car and randomly kill a stranger. That's just not me. So I remember that vividly and being like, whoa, who the hell are you right now? What are you going through that you're doing things you don't do? So I've driven drunk. It's not about that. And to be perfectly honest with you, my constituents don't really give a shit about a DWI conviction. They really don't. They're like, you didn't kill nobody. You didn't hurt nobody. They do it all the time. They don't really care about that. There'd be no benefit in me asserting my innocence. Like, what's the point? I've been penalized more than a person legally can for this. There's no benefit in me doing it. So I've gotten some like, okay, everybody just believes that it is what it is. Fine, the DWI. But all the stuff that follows that, to me, was like a slap in my constituents' face. It was the people who elected me. It made it seem, and the point was to make it seem like I don't give a shit about this. I don't care about this at all. I don't care about this job. And it made no sense. I had just worked and sacrificed my practice and sacrificed my family and worked and everybody saw me. Everybody saw my lawn signs. Everybody saw me everywhere. It made no sense that I didn't care about what I was doing. So it was like, wow, this person has been in this community her entire life. For 33 years, she has not been an elected official in a position of power, and she has managed to hold it together. And suddenly, she gets this job
and then lose it,
and just goes batshit crazy. Just is out drinking and going crazy.
She's above the law.
Right.
Like, oh, she thinks she's
above the law because she's
Right.
a judge.
And I'm like,
the comments were insane.
Yeah.
I had to stop reading them because people was like, the stuff people were saying was ridiculous.
We talked about it a few times,
Yeah.
and you were always defending, like, this is crazy, you know?
well, it's like, if you think that you're above the law, right, then you actually, first of all, after the DWI, there was never any allegation prior to recently that I broke another law. So, like, why are we talking about me being above the law? Because the accusations that you're coming up with are not that I'm breaking the law. It's that I'm violating a judge's order. And this is the same judge who, if you remember, and this is the video that went viral of me, I came to court and he was like, you didn't get this device placed on. And I was like, I don't have to. Here's the case. I never had to. I never had to pay for this. I paid for it out of the kindness of my heart because I wanted to stop having media follow me. I never had to pay for it. Here's the case. The DA goes, no, she's right. She doesn't have to pay for it. The judge read the case and said, I can't believe I ordered you to do something and you didn't do it. You can't make me comply with an illegal order, sir. I'm not sure who you think you are, but you don't own me. I am not here because you are my overseer. And that was the video where I was like, you don't just get to put me in jail because you want to.
Yeah.
And he did. And everybody saw that. It was on the news. It was on television.
Can you sue?
My
Look, I'm going to ask that. Can you sue?
My employer had law clerks sitting in the courtroom. And when I went to jail that day, I was like, oh, whatever, they about to come get me. Because they're not going to let him do this, knowing it's illegal on TV with the whole world watching. Somebody's coming to get me. And I didn't care, right? Because I had already done 2 months. It wasn't like I couldn't do a weekend in jail. But Monday was a holiday. He scheduled court again with no notice for 4 o'clock on a Friday. And the point was that he was putting me in my place. And I thought, this man is not going to do this on television. Like, everybody's going to see this. And he sure did. And I sat there that weekend, and I think that out of all the times in this case, that's the time I was heartbroken. And it wasn't about a weekend. It was like, this is not wrong.
Right.
I didn't do anything wrong. You know, like, I've always thought that people made mistakes or I thought that judges might do things, but not intentionally.
That had to be frustrating.
It was clearly intentional. He knew that he ordered me to do something he did not legally have the authority to make me do, and then he jailed me for not doing it.
So why not represent yourself? Because you fired a few attorneys, and I'm like, she could just represent herself.
I did represent myself at some point under cover of another person because, again, anytime I comment on my own case, then I'm potentially messing up my job. So it was a very interesting circle that we created where it's like, I can't advocate for myself, which is very difficult for me, right? Not to stand up for myself. And if I do, I'm in jeopardy of losing my position. Right. Because when this happened, everybody had questions. Tom Joyner reached out to me, like lots of different, Floyd Mayweather's team, like lots of people reached out to me and were like, no, this is a problem. And we want you to come on our show and we want you to talk about it. And I was like,
you didn't, and you're here though. Wow.
I didn't. I wanted to shed a light on it, but I also wanted to keep my job. And I didn't want them to use that as a reason. And then it was like, you don't care. And it's like, you don't know that I'm doing all of this suffering silently in effort to keep holding on to a position that I earned. You didn't give me this. And that's the way they acted. They acted like they gave me something. You didn't give me anything.
You know where I can see her right now? I can see you on TV. You know those like TV judges but are they acting? Like, you know how they have like the judges on TV?
They're like appointed,
Yes,
Judge Faith.
So dope.
I have a question. I want to know. It's been bothering me from the beginning. Since the whole case is going, everything happened. Did you try to buy a gun?
So this case is still pending.
Oh, you can't
so I cannot talk about this case that's still pending.
I was mad at your sister for a long time.
Everybody had issues with my sister.
I got a problem with your sister if that's true.
And the issue that I have with everybody's problem is, again, you're still listening to the media. Right. My sister never, ever said anything about me trying to buy a gun. Wow. Never said it. Nor did I ever say that my sister was buying a gun instead of me. The media told you that. What I said is, I got goons. I don't need a motherfucking. That's what that's what I said for real. And they were like, "Oh, her sister." I'm like, "It's real out here in these streets."
They just made that.
Well, the media's done a lot of
no. So
wow.
So I said that.
Like that. She said she got goons.
I love you. You're a goon. What's a goon to a goblin? Nothing. You ain't saying nothing. No, but so I said that, and people started saying, "Oh, your sister," because there were times that they accused me of doing things, and it really was my sister. Right. My sister owns a daycare. So she made a statement and was like, I did not try to purchase a gun. I have a home business. That she made a statement about her. She didn't say anything about me. Okay. I made a statement about goons. I didn't say anything about her.
Right. Don't be one of them people.
No, I'm not. I in that case, I listened and I was like, and I said it. If this is true, her sister dead wrong. I always said that.
Yeah, everybody's like, why would your sister turn on you all of a sudden? I'm like, I would never compromise my sister's business. So if you feel the need to defend yourself,
the media is shady boots.
Well, the media can either help make or break somebody.
Yeah, and what I will say though is typically people have terms and conditions of probation, right? Let's be clear, I'm not a felon. So I didn't lose my right to bear arms. That's a constitutional right that cannot be taken away by a misdemeanor conviction. So I have a constitutional right to bear arms. And when you are on probation, there are terms and conditions of probation that dictate what behavior you are allowed to engage in and what behavior you are not allowed to engage in. And there are also legal terms and definitions. So under the law, right, different things have different definitions. You might think a gun is a gun, but under the law, we have rifles, we have firearms, we have shotguns. And when you're on probation, the terms and conditions of your probation are supposed to tell you what you're prohibited from doing. What I will say to you unequivocally is the terms and conditions of my probation do not prohibit me from purchasing a shotgun. It does not say on there that I cannot own a shotgun. So as far as I'm concerned, if I went to buy a shotgun right now, I don't know why that'd be a problem, because I'm not supposed to have to guess what I'm prohibited from doing.
Right.
But that is not speaking to anything I did or didn't attempt to do. I'm just saying that when people are on probation, they're supposed to know what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. And that's why nobody else has ever been charged with this in the history of man. And the timing was interesting because if you recall, I published an open letter to Judge Doran on my Facebook, and I was arrested about 2 days later. But I know I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist victim, so.
Listen.
It's crazy how from hearing it from your mouth, hearing the truth from you, no buffering from the media, none of that, and to hear how this whole thing is played out, it's crazy. It's like, how was that even allowed to happen to you? None of that.
You know what? It was really hard for me in my own self, right? But what was harder for me was that I was like, well, damn, I'm like in their cool club, or I'm supposed to be. I'm a judge, right? And so if you will do this to me on television while the world is watching, what the hell do you normally do in the backwoods of your little courtrooms where nobody is seeing anything? It made me, because I still believe in the criminal justice system. I do think it's messed up, and I do think we need to fix it. But it made me look at it so much differently to go through it my own self. I never, ever would have thought, like when I was on the bench, I certainly made mistakes. I'm sure I did. I don't know what they were because I didn't make them on purpose. But I never intentionally did something I knew I couldn't do to teach somebody, you know, their role or to make somebody be put in their place. I'm sorry, I got fired up. I wanted to show you my brain surgery scar, but I'm freezing. You can see my scar, but I'm cold though. So that was the most difficult part for me because people would be like, oh, how are you going to be a prosecutor and lock up black people? And I'd be like, no, the system is, you know, the prosecutor has all the power. So I can make offers and I can give reductions. And I was like, I'm going to be the change I want to see. And I'm going to get in this system and I'm going to fix it. And to get in it and be like, you know, you're going to do this to me on TV.
Right.
Everybody's watching.
Everybody's
and nobody's
watching.
going to stop you.
Nope.
That was.
Did your lawyer even say you can't do that?
I didn't have a lawyer with me when I got taken into custody for absolutely no reason, which is another reason that most people, like if you go to court and your lawyer says I can't be here today, the judge is not going to bring you into custody because you have a right to counsel. But in my case, when I went to court with literally no notice, because I got notice the day of court that I had court at 4:00, I didn't have an attorney. So I got there and my attorney wasn't there, but I didn't need an attorney because I brought the appropriate case law and I had already filed a memorandum of law. And the judge said this is how I knew it wasn't a mistake. He said, did you file the memo yet? Meaning, did I actually serve it down at the clerk's office so there would be a timestamp so that the case law would be on the record in the court? And I said, Judge, I was trying to make this court appearance, so I didn't have an opportunity to file it. I have someone literally coming down right now. And he said, well, I'll consider your papers when I receive them. You're remanded without bail. The district attorney didn't ask for my remand. The district attorney actually said that it was not appropriate for me to be ordered to pay for the scram bracelet in the first place and that I didn't have to pay for it. The district attorney is who's responsible for asking for bail. The district attorney is who's responsible for saying a person is a flight risk. The district attorney said nothing, and the judge remanded me to jail. And if you watch, the deputies are coming over, and I'm like, this is illegal. You can't just put me in jail.
I mean, it was like,
and the deputies are like,
they're
like, do we put her in jail? I don't know what we're supposed to do because she sounds like she knows what the hell she's talking about. And because I did.
I knew passionate, like the passion behind, like you were like, this is illegal, and I was like, oh my god, it's illegal. Putting her in handcuffs, I'm like, this is illegal. I watched it. I was like, yo, this is not okay. It was very hard to watch. Like if you go back and watch it, I'm like,
yeah, it was.
It doesn't seem right about this.
If you watch, like also one of the things, and I'm not like super vain or anything, but one of the things that I tried my best to control was being cute when I went to court. And I'm a hot mess that day. Like, I was not ready for court. I did not know I had court. I just came down there looking like, of course, that's the day I go viral, right? I'm like, right. So I go down there looking like a whole mess because I don't want to be late, and I'm trying to hurry up and get there. And I didn't expect to go to jail because I knew when I went to probation, I told them when I went, they're like, okay, pay to get the scram bracelet put back on. I was like, no, I don't have to. You know I don't have to. Here's the case. I don't have to. And he was like, I'm going to report it to the judge. I'm like, do what you got to do. It doesn't matter. I don't have to. So I never in a million years would have thought I'm going to go to jail for not doing something that I don't have to do. Right. That doesn't make any sense.
This whole thing's just like, what can we do?
Just people, they
like this. It's
like
is
they didn't want
this
you.
Is not right. What can we do?
From the beginning, you already knew.
From the beginning, you know, to be honest, my little stupid behind walked in there like, oh, kumbaya.
Yeah.
You do what you do in your courtroom, and I'll do what I do. You know, what do you care? And it became an issue from the outset. And so even if it wasn't a problem from the beginning, the way that my experience in the office started would never make me think that it wasn't connected to that.
Absolutely. So from the beginning, it's like you were outside of the circle. So you
From
were
the
never
beginning.
inside of the circle.
So you
That's
were never
never
in.
in the
So it was
cool club.
easy for them to treat you that way because it was like she was never one of us anyway.
Right.
Right.
That's certainly how it felt.
Well, you definitely one of us. Girl.
Yes, and we appreciate
And we
you.
rocking and rolling with you,
Right.
okay?
I think I was supposed to pick a side, right? Like I was supposed to be this classy judge person or be like this ghetto girl. And if I had to choose, I'm like, well, like I feel more comfortable over here,
Right.
you know. So like that's what, and obviously, you know, I know how to speak English properly, and I have an
course.
education, but I also, you know how to speak and come from where I come from. So it is what it is, and yeah, it was very difficult, and even now, still, nobody can articulate to me why those things were okay, why they were acceptable, why
So
they happened.
so again, can you sue?
I don't think.
Look, I'm like, can you do
Right.
something?
Well, first of all, the judge is not even a judge anymore. He's retired.
Can you
So
just
that
let
was
it go?
another
Sue
reason
the
that
DA
it
for
was.
not saying something. Sue the police officer from
The
the
DA
beginning.
didn't do anything wrong. The DA has always been in my case like, can we just end this? He's never aggressively prosecuted this. The DA actually was a district attorney in the office when I was in the office.
But he didn't do enough. By
when
saying,
I had brain
"We
surgery.
actually in this? No. He could have went a little harder. Like, this is ridiculous, Judge. You can't do that. You can't arrest her. Like, stuff like that. He
Well,
could have said that.
So when we
And he
talked
didn't,
about
did he?
no, but when we talked about why the DA is the most important person in the
Mhm.
courtroom, it's because the district attorney's job is to do justice. People think the district attorney's job is to get convictions and to convict people.
So
of
being
crimes.
that it's to do justice, that day he should have said, Judge so-and-so, you cannot do that. You
Yeah.
cannot arrest her and you cannot do that. And being that he didn't stand
But
up
it
and
was
do
a
that,
Friday, right?
he wanted him to.
He was like, listen.
But being that he didn't stand up and do that, he on their side too. Because he could have said that. You can't do that. You
Yes,
can't
we all
arrest
know.
her.
I
all know
I
that.
don't.
He should have. I'm pissed about that.
So the question is, my last question is, can you appeal? Like, can you go back in front of like the New York State, what is it called?
I don't believe that there is any mechanism by which to appeal Judicial Commission's decision. No, Judicial Commission is the entity that's in Rochester, right?
Oh,
And they make a decision, and then you appeal their decision to the New York State Court of Appeals.
Can
Okay,
we do
can
it
you
on
do
your
that?
behalf? Like, can we be
Yeah.
like,
You
no,
know,
but
can
I
you
need to
do
let her
that?
back in there because
You know
she
what's
makes a
very
difference.
interesting, right? In order to remove a person from the bench, what the Court of Appeals has to hold is that the community has lost faith in that person's ability to judge.
But the community, we never, no.
Nobody asked you.
That's what I was gonna say.
But there is a community that formed a petition and was outraged and was in the comments and drove a media circus, and the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that was like this devastating collision of the
Yeah.
criminal justice system to me, it was like, you're saying that my community doesn't want me to serve as a judge. My community that still refuses to call me anything other than judge. And I know for a fact that that's not accurate. So it was really difficult for the decision to come down when I was like, what community does this reflect?
Exactly.
Not the community that elected me.
No.
Yeah, because I'm like, can we?
Yeah,
go?
can we do? That's why I'm like, what can we do? Because just hearing the whole story from beginning to end, like, it's not right. And you know how I feel about stuff like this already.
Yeah.
So it's not right. And it's
not.
like, what can we do? This you can't just let this go. Like, you were done so wrong. It can't be just
But you
let
know
go.
what? I mean,
Like,
I hate
no.
that saying like everything happens for a reason, but there's obviously something bigger in store for your life. So
I think
you
that-
have
That's
to
why
go
she
through this
shouldn't let it
process,
go.
because wherever you're getting ready to go is going to be a much bigger platform where you're going to be able to help so many more people. So
And that's why I have to
Yeah.
stop arguing with people
Yes.
who are just saying
Yes.
stupid things, because I do
Mhm,
think
mhm.
that I do believe this was my Thailand inspired tattoo that I got, and this has been the message. This is why I'm trying not to fight so much, and I'm
you
trying
still.
the message from God my whole life. This is his favorite scripture to give me, is I'm supposed to sit my ass down and shut up, and I'm so bad at it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, God, well, I was being still, and then you sent somebody to ask me some questions, and I said a whole lot of shit, and so we're gonna start over. So I'm trying to just figure out what the lesson is, what the blessing. Today somebody made a post about, and I don't mean to speak ill of Judge Johnson. She's retiring, and I know she hasn't been well. Somebody made a post about her and said, like, this woman has run unopposed for 3 terms, and it cannot happen. Well, it doesn't matter. She's retiring. But what I thought was, if this whole situation led to city court getting enough attention that judges who are not judges that reflect what the community deserves no longer get to run unopposed for 3 terms
Right.
in a row, then that's a win for me, because that's a win for my community.
Cause she.
But that's a win for me,
That's all
because
I'ma say. Cause she.
if we are now saying, because previously when you got on the bench, you didn't get off. Once you got elected, you would just continue to get
Right.
reelected.
Yeah.
If that's not necessarily the case anymore, right? And these judges know that they have to actually serve the community
Mhm,
that
mhm.
elected them.
Then you
Well,
feel
that's
like
a hell of a
something- yeah.
win. That's a
Yeah.
big,
That
big
is
win.
That's definitely big. but I don't want to let this go.
No, I don't mean
I'm
to
like, I don't want to let this go.
I don't
something
mean
bigger
to
in store.
imply
Like,
that I've let it go.
Crazy.
You know, when you had talked about like writing a book and going on a book tour, like, I just see something bigger for you. You know, on a bigger platform. So this is not the end for you.
No, and I mean, to be honest, I really enjoyed private practice before I became a judge. It is lucrative, and you work for yourself, and you set your own hours, and I didn't plan on running for judge. It was a little discussion with me and God, and he, in my opinion, wanted me to do this.
So how, if people that need a lawyer, how can they get in contact with you? Plug that in.
I will just start off by saying that this is attorney advertising, so that I'm in compliance with all rules. But if you are looking for an attorney for any purposes, you can contact me at 585-496-4624. And I will discuss any legal needs that you have. Please don't message me on Facebook because you did not plow my driveway and I'm not checking my DMs. So it's really, people message me all the time. So I keep erasing Messenger, and then people are like, I messaged you. And I'm like, don't message me about your case. Right. If you call me, you can actually call me and or text me 496-4624. I don't answer the phone off hours unless you leave a message and tell me you're getting arrested. I am accessible to my clients all the time. So if you are getting arrested, I will get up and answer the phone. I will get up and come on scene and pull up and handle it. But
she said pull up. That's
yeah.
Yo, I need a lawyer that says that. Yo, I'm about to pull up, Shakira. Sasha, jumping on the phone like, Judge. She's like, Shakira, I'm about to pull up. I need her to pull up.
But that's what I mean. Like, that's how I talk. That's what, that's who I am. And I mean it. Like, my cousin, my baby cousin, before he passed, he actually said, he's like, it's stupid for me to even be doing this because I got a free lawyer all the time. And he was a G. He would call me. I'd be like, how do you call me in handcuffs? But I would pull up. I'd be like, hold up, you got the wrong one, homie. Not this one. He not going to jail today.
Right.
And I would pull up. And so attorney advertising, you can get that same kind of service for a fee.
Yo, get that number again.
585-496-4624. And the practice is going well.
Good,
like,
of
in
course it
spite
is.
of the fact that this is still going on,
because I'm about to call you.
I'm
when
over
you
here
get done.
thriving, and the
Look,
practice is going on.
I gotta talk about.
you.
You already know. I'm like, I gotta talk to her about that.
And while I love all of you, if you can't afford an attorney, then don't call me because this is not a not-for-profit.
No,
this is what I do for a living. People call me and they be like, I need a lawyer. I need you to come court me. I'm like, are you in a position to retain an attorney? Like, no, I don't got no money. I'm like, then you have the public defender and good luck with that.
Well, I get it.
I'm
I get
sorry,
it,
my
though.
practice
I
has
get
been
it.
open since October. I'm not in a position to give away free legal services.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I offer payment plans. I offer discounts. I have always said, when I first came out, I said, I didn't want to price myself out of the market that I wanted to help. So I'm not
So you're
gonna,
reasonable, okay?
right? So
she's reasonable, guys. But she's not free.
I'm not free. And if you call me and you be like, oh, well, you charge too much, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, call somebody else and call me when you need an appellate attorney. When you lose, I'll see it in. I'm not playing with you.
Hey,
You gotta eat.
I got
I get it.
I got more degrees than a thermometer. You're not about to sit here and try to convince me
listen.
that I need to lower my price.
Yo, put her in the studio. Bars. Listen, we're gonna leave it on that. We're gonna leave it there.
Do appreciate you coming and setting the record straight and clearing the story up, because I know our people really needed to hear from you. And people have been wondering for so long, like, what's going on, what's happening.
And that's an overview.
So
there's so much we didn't even.
Listen,
I want going on for 3 years.
Yes.
So that's an overview.
Yes.
These are heated.
no.
Oh, my
You
booty
just
is
all
my
revved
booty
up.
getting warm finally.
all revved up.
Look, she be trying to go before she was like, I'm cold.
Right,
yo.
I'm like my booty done got some warmth. My hands are still cold, but my booty done warmed up.
So one more time, plug your number in if people do need a lawyer.
All right, if you do need a lawyer, 585-496-4624. This is attorney advertising. This is not just me talking. This is an advertisement. I do not want attorney grievance contacting me tomorrow talking about how I'm not. They watch everything I do. Don't get it twisted.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not in compliance with the rules. I am. So this is an advertisement, but if you need an attorney, and don't decide what I do and don't do, right? I primarily do criminal and family law, but I do personal injury. I do other things too, SSI, SSD. So call me and I'll tell you no if I say no. Don't decide that I'm not going to represent
You'll ask you.
call me and
All
I'll
right.
let you know.
All right. Well,
This has been fun.
we gotta have you back.
Just to come back and just hang
to
out,
come back
like
and
not
hang out
even
with
talk
us.
about
Yeah.
the case, but just because
Yeah.
you're just fun.
Well, I had a good time. This is a good time. I'm sorry I get I'd be like,
Don't
Please don't apologize for
Don't
like
being
Latina,
apologize.
I get a little fired up, and you
Don't
like you don't know if I'm
apologize.
gonna cuss you or run you over. I got both sides. It's coming from every angle. You don't know what's gonna happen.
But she will pull up if
She
y'all.
will pull up.
If you cut or run over somebody, she will pull up.
Pull up. So we
So, yeah.
appreciate you. It was a good time, and I can't wait till next week. It's gonna be a dope
Absolutely.
show.
All right, you guys, make sure you check us out next week. Oh, hit us up on all of our social media.
Yes.
The Plug Radio 585,
Mhm.
Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter. Make sure you check us out on all of our other outlets. We are on Spotify now.
SoundCloud.
We're
SoundCloud,
Is it
Apple
Google?
Music,
yeah.
everywhere.
Well, we're everywhere. So check us out.
And also on Thursdays at 9, you can check us out on
WXIR 100.9. WXIR
p.m.
will definitely be on there at 9 o'clock,
9 p.m. Yep.
9 p.m. So we got a lot in store for
Yeah,
you guys.
shout out to our DJ Judd.
Oh, he got theme music.
Yes,
We
shout out
don't
to our
play,
team.
yes.
So we appreciate you guys. If you want to be where the judge is sitting,
Yeah,
make sure you
because she
hit-
a judge. I don't
where
care.
the judge is sitting. Make sure you hit us up at theplugradio585@gmail.com.
Yes.
We definitely want to hear from you guys.
Absolutely.
All right, and we'll check you guys next week. Have a good night. We out.
Plug.
Let's get it straight, girl. You don't need a nigga for nothing. Looking better every day. You got that Benjamin Button. Claiming he don't got a girl.